Testing audio. Testing audio. Hello. It's alien time. It's alien time. This is another anomaly reading, and today I have for you, something interesting. We are going to, do another anomaly about all these comets. We got the Atlas. We got Atlas. Atlas is gonna be like this. Here we go. This is Atlas. We got the swans returning. We got the lemons and some other things. So I got something to show you right here. Okay, where is it? Where is it? That's me. You see, you can see my face. Okay, there we go. So you can see this. Yeah, right here. This is a website. This website is this website right here, and it does these things. Can you see that? Here. All right. So this is the website I'm looking at, theskylive.com, and it shows like this thing here, and all the other people or planets, asteroids, whatever. So here we got lemon, we got swan, we got atlas, we got something else. It's in 2024. I'll ignore that. 2022. There's something neat over here, and so if I click on this neat thing and go down here, and it shows this. Then I can click here, and it shows this, right? And it gives like a time, and this is neat. This is neat right here. And let's see. That's my head. Right there. So yeah, this is pretty neat right here. And so neat will be where am I? Can't see myself when I'm doing this, but you can see things. Which is pretty neat. It says, take this moment for you. This is Earl Grey tea, and this is pretty neat. Okay, and so it's going to be represented as a neat thing for my tarot readings. With this, this is an anomaly reading. Okay, I know nothing about astrology or whatever, astronomy and astrology. I know nothing. I tap into energies, and this is pretty neat right here. So the thing is, if we go like this, what's not so neat is that you can't see anything else that's neat, right? This is just neat right here. And then you can play it, and it goes like that. It's pretty neat. But the thing is, what else? What else is there? This is pretty neat, I suppose. But what else is there? So to do that, you know, you click back here, like this, and say, okay, well, what else do I want to see? Lemons. Let's look at lemons. Scroll all the way down here, and then click on this, and there's a lemon. And so the lemon. I clicked on Mars. Here's the lemon. Oh, that's Mercury. Okay, here we go. Lemons. I'm gonna do a lemon reading, and you can play the lemon and see where it goes. It's going past Mercury, November or something, and then swings around for the Venus thing. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Let's see. Could you see that? Maybe. Okay. So anyway, how do we actually see anything else, right? Here's the lemon. Well, how do we see neat again? Well, we can go down here, and you can type in neat. Where's my keyboard? There it is. Neat. There's a lot of neat things, apparently. I don't remember what it was. I guess I'll click on all of them. I don't know. Where's neat? There's neat. do another neat thing. Neat. Here's a linear neat. Whatever. Here's another neat thing. I can click on things. Neat. Here's another neat. Okay, so, I have no idea what these neat things are, but, all the neat things in the universe will be represented by Earl. Here, right here. So, I'm gonna do an Earl reading, which is pretty neat. And then, this is an atlas reading, the first atlas that was near Mars. Okay, and there's another atlas that's hibiscus right now. So, you gotta find atlas. Here. Reset, whatever. Let's go back up here. Okay, so, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use this website, and, what you can do is go to the 3D solar system viewer. It will show some things. There's the WIERZCHOS. Can you see me? You can see me. Alright, anyway. You zoom in. Here's a swan. This is why I'm doing this reading right now. Because it's swan time. Right now, it's swan time. And it's time to do the swan reading. Because, this swan thing. If you click play for a second, you can see it's October 20th right now as I'm recording, and it comes around Earth around this time, and so I'm doing a reading specifically about the swans. So there's that. So here it is. You can choose your time and everything, and then play it and see how it moves. It's pretty neat. Okay. Let's go. Let's pause and go back in time. There's September. Okay, so here, this is the atlas, the famous Mars atlas thing. This is the wrong atlas. Okay, we're looking at a different one. They didn't include it on this thing because what I did, I came over to this website, theskylive.com, and I scrolled down here and I clicked on this. And I don't see the atlas that everybody's trying to hide in science right now around Mars. So what we have to do is search for it and type in atlas. Atlas. And it's the 3-1 atlas comet. And so there it is. Look at that, it's right there. And where it was, you play and pause, and then you go backwards in time. That's how you do that. And so around here, that's when that happened. So that's pretty neat. Right there. Well, neat's over. I don't know where neat went, but I'm doing a neat reading. Whatever. Anyway. Where did neat go? Whatever. There's a swan. There's the other atlas. This is the first atlas. There's the other atlas. Here's a lemon. There's a swan. And there's this thing. WIERZCHOS. I don't know what else to include, really. I mean, okay. Okay, so, what do I have? Well, I have lemons, okay? And I have Earl Grey. And I have hibiscus. And, better goods. And a swan. And I got some, some vitamin C. So, I'm prepared to do the atlas reading. Okay, both of the atlases. And then, here, everybody, loves lemons these days. So, I can do a lemon. I got it. Look at all these swans here. I mean, I'm prepared for the swans. We got all the swans here. So I'm gonna do a swan reading. And maybe whatever I don't know will be vitamin C. Okay? That's how that's gonna happen. Everything else will be represented. Okay, this is the neat. Earl Grey is pretty neat. And then everything else that I'm not including will be vitamin C. Okay, it's an anomaly reading. I can't know everything. So that's what's going to happen. And here's the solar system. Okay. Am I recording? Yes, I am. And so I thought it'd be fancy, you know, if I gotta look at something neat. Hold on. Let's here, I'll show you. Yeah, you're looking at it. Okay. So if I click over here and scroll down and scroll down and scroll down. Here we go. Lemon, Swan, Atlas, WIERZCHOS, Atlas. This is the K1 Atlas. This is the second Atlas. I don't know what these atlases, but this is neat. Okay, the 240p neat, and the WIERZCHOS, I guess. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay. Ignore everything else. So the neat, 240p neat. I go back here, and I search for the neatness with my keyboard. Right here, neat. The 240p neat. There we go. Did I click on that? Yeah, 240p neat. There it is. Okay, so this, can you see this? Let's see what you can see. Okay. There we go. So this is neat, right over here. I gotta see what you're seeing. Okay. Can I see? Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Okay. So this is neat. This will be Earl Grey. Okay. Okay. And then this is Swan over here. Let's zoom into the Swan. Okay. This Swan will be Swan. Alright, and we got the K1 Atlas, which is Hibiscus. And then the Atlas near Mars is going to be the better goods. And then the WIERZCHOS will be the vitamin C. The lemon is lemon. And this neat thing over here is Earl Grey tea. So that's what I'm doing with my life right now. And so I wanted to show you this thing over here. Okay, so you can choose your date and time and everything. And so I was born October 7th, you know, in 1989, but it's 2025 right now. I recently had a birthday. So I existed in 1348. There we go. And what's pretty cool is that you can save this, okay? So you put in your birthday, and then you can save it. Like that, okay? And then you close all this. Verify I'm recording. Okay, there we go. And so you click on that. And then the time disappears, right? And if you play this, it'll start playing. But, look at this, October 7th, 1348, and you click here, then the time appears. And you can see what everything was on your birthday, which is my birthday right here. I existed at this time, and so here I am right now, right here. And so this is what the universe looked like when I existed on my birthday recently. So there's a Swan close to Earth. Atlas just passed Mars, you know, did its Mars thing on the 3rd. This is the 7th. And then the other Atlas is behind the sun right now. You know, the Earth's right over here, and this is Atlas. The other Atlas is going to be over there. The Swan's near Earth. The lemon is doing something over there. The WIERZCHOS and the neat. So I'm going to play this. And then look. And they're moving. Okay. Yay. So that's fun. I'm going to show you this better, like this, right now. So I'm going to click over here again, and there, it saved my birthday. I'm going to go step by step. You know, you can zoom out and see where the other planets are. There's Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, and Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Earth, Venus, Mercury, and the Sun. So, and it's, you know, you think this is over here or something, and it's way over there. So you can just like go around like this to see where they really are and stuff like that. So you play, and it's like day by day. But then it landed on 48. That's nice. But if you save your thing, and then you just click here, then it's it shows up, and then you can go day by day. Like that. And then swing it around. Go like this. And so, like, this perspective right here, you looking at? Yeah, okay. So the WIERZCHOS, it looks like it's near the atlas, but then you change your view and it's way far away. So that's something to consider. Yeah, this is a pretty neat website, so that's why I'm showing you that. But anyway, you can go like day by day. And then, you know, the swan's getting pretty close to Earth. Right there. So, that's why I'm doing this reading. Because it's currently, like, right now. And so right now, if you look at all these comets and stuff, you know, they're starting to surround Earth a little bit. You go like this, a little more. And then these comets, the Swan and the Atlas, are kind of looking at each other, and here comes Lemon. Like, and that's pretty neat. You know, Neat's over here backing it up. And yeah, you got this alignment thing happening. And when is this? Well, it's around Halloween. Yeah. There's Halloween right there. And so, you know, it's close enough to Halloween. The Swan is why I'm doing this reading around the 20th, because that's the closest time. And I got other Halloween things to do, so I'm just gonna do a reading now and see. I might do like this hidden sun atlas thing again. I don't know, but I think this is pretty neat. So that's what I'm doing with my life right here. So that's kind of fancy, and I get to see the 1348s of every day by clicking on this little thing right here. So that's pretty neat. So are you ready? Are you ready for the reading? I'm in space. Space is nice. Space is neat. Okay. What do I got for you? Well, yeah, I got better goods. I got lemons. I got the atlas. And vitamin C. So, again, this is the C 2025 R2 SWAN. Can you see me? Yes. This is the Swan. Alright. Hibiscus will be the other atlas, the K1 atlas. 2025 K1 atlas. The better goods is the 3i atlas. And then we got the lemons, which is the lemons. We got the WIERZCHOS over here with the vitamin C. And we got the neat Earl Grey. So these are the readings. This is going to happen right now. And I'm going to look at myself so I know what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay. So you get to see my desk right here. All like centered like for the reading. Oh, well, you can see my monitor. It's fancy. Maybe not see my monitor. Okay. Hang on just a second. There we go. Maybe like that. There. This is my desk right here. Nope, that's not good enough. Okay. How about like this? Just the edge of my desk, right? You can't see that. Okay. Anyway, yeah, it's a fun time to get a tarot reading about anomalies. There we go. There's the edge of my desk right here. There's the edge of this thing. Maybe just a little. It's hard to adjust this. Okay, maybe like that. Hi. Ah, here's my head. You can't see my head. I guess I should talk about anomalies, but I don't know what to say. So whatever. Maybe I'll talk later. Okay. You know what? This is just, I might cut this out. Okay. About like that. There. It's the edge of the table. The edge of this. You can still see my screen. Come on, man. Alright. No. This webcam doesn't have the best things on it. How about that? Yes. Okay. There we go. There. Here's my desk. Move that a little. There's my chest. Okay, there we go. There we go. We got this. You can look at my face later, maybe. You know, that now that I got this, I can talk a bit, whatever. I'll sweat in my mask, that's fine. So, we got the atlas. Let's, go like that. There we go. Alright, we got the atlas. And, and the lemons. And the WIERZCHOS. And the atlas. Oh, no. How embarrassing. There's like bits of cosmic dust everywhere. Okay. There we go. Yeah. Okay. That was embarrassing. You can see it. There. Can't see that. Alright, you're still not focused on the... What is that? Oh, come on. Alright. So professional. Let's just move you over there. A little bit, maybe. Maybe a little bit. Alright. So professional. Let's just move you over there. A little bit, maybe. Maybe a little bit. Let's just move you over there. A little bit, maybe. Let's just move you over there. Maybe. Let's just move you over there. Let's just move you over there. Let's just move you over there. Maybe. Let's just move you over there. Maybe. There. Can't see that. Alright, you're still not focused on the... What is that? Oh, come on. Alright. So professional. Let's just move you over there. Maybe. Okay. And then down. Ta-da! Why does it look different? Man. I don't know, there's like part of my room there. It's weird. Okay. Down. Sure. Maybe not. Gosh. Okay. Hang on. Alright. Alright, are you ready for your reading? Alright, so, what we got? What do we got? We got the neatness. We got the lemons. You can't see what I'm seeing. Alright, well, we can fix that. You know what? I'm gonna be like this for a while. Okay? So I'm gonna talk about anomalies. And, the thing is, I sweat in this mask after a while with this hat. And so, I gotta talk about something about anomalies. Yeah. Look at that. There's my new bed. I got that for my birthday. I couldn't lay in it on my birthday. I had to lay on the other one. But, the thing is, come on. There. So it took me like 2 days to fluff up the bed because it's memory foam. But, so, you know, after my birthday, I gotta lay on a table for 2 days, 2 nights. So anyway, there's my amazing bed, and it's so comfy, so amazing, and that's what I got for my birthday. That's all I got. Okay. Anyway, anomalies. What do we do with anomalies? Something disrupts our plans. Okay, we plan everything out, we categorize, we structure everything, and what happens? Well, this happens. Okay? Things come into our system, and we don't know what to do about it. Okay, this is an anomaly. It's weird. It's you know, we got all these planets going around, which are predictable, which have a path that we look at and we base everything on. But then there's this visitor. Then there's this anomaly. Then there's this character that doesn't really fit in with everything. The misfits, the outcasts. And so, how do we deal with that? You know, these travelers in our solar system. Well, you know, we make exceptions, we make special rules, and, yeah, like, it's all about, these anomaly readings is all about how to deal with anomalies. Sometimes, you know, things happen that set us down, you know, spiraling path, and it's all confusing. It's like a tower moment. But then, you know, we learn how to adapt, and then we change. We become our best selves through this challenge. Because if it's just standard, well, you know, it's boring. And so, these anomaly readings are all about how to deal with anomalies. And, that's what I'm gonna do. Is that it? I done talking? I don't know what to do. I guess that's it. Alright. You get your anomaly reading now. Okay. Let's see. If I'm better at this now. Okay. And then pull it up. Yes. Alright. That was fantastic. Why didn't that happen before? USB cam. Display cam. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Just gonna rotate this a little bit. Alright, we are ready. Just like that. Alright, I'm gonna take my hat off and get back to you. I mean, we got these things. Get back to you. Okay, I'm back. I'm ready to do the reading. Okay, this is the neat reading. You can't see what I'm seeing. Alright, let's do, this thing. Hang on. Let's pull up my, my special, super special secret. Where is it? Projects. Backstage. White background. Yeah. put that over there. Okay. Da-da-da. That's what I look at. And you get to look at this with light. If the light wasn't there, it'd be like that. No, that's stupid. Doesn't really do anything. Like, there's my hand. I mean, does this help the cards at all? I mean, it distinguishes this, I suppose. Whatever, I'll keep it on. Alright, so anyway, gotta reverse this, right? So we go down to the USB cam, we do the transform, we do the flip, the rotate 180. Look at it again, and bam, you see what I see. Okay, so here we go. Alright, we got the Earl Grey. This is the neatness. We got the lemons. It's the lemons. We got the, it's all about this. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, fine. Fine. There we go. So, Earl Grey will represent the neatness of the universe. We'll put that right there. And, yeah, we gotta deal with this. Luckily I got that. Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Neat. Did you see how neat that was? Okay, anyway. We got the Earl Grey, representing the neatness. We got the lemons, representing the lemons. We got the swans, representing the swans. And we got the better goods, representing the atlas that was near Mars, the 3-eye atlas. And we got the other atlas. It's doing something else. Probably behind the sun right now. And then we got the WIERZCHOS over here. Now, I don't know what that is at all. Anyway. Here we go. And we got the Gilded Tarot Royale Zero Marchetti with Barbara Amore. Right there. So, I'm gonna do all the piles. But let's pull a card. There's one card stuck in the bottom of it. Oh no. Look at that. You know what this looks like? This. If I pull up my, this looks like this. Yeah, interesting. Hang on. This. Looks like these. So this is interesting. Maybe some people out there actually have the fear, the anxiety. Maybe people are having dreams about it. This is upside down though. And so, what this represents. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Okay, so, you know, if this was like this, then these are the nightmares, these are anxieties, these are fears and stuff. Like you think all these things are gonna attack Earth. But this one, I guess there's safety. You feel more comforted. Maybe you're wondering about it, which is quite fitting, I would say. Maybe like you don't feel threatened, but you're looking at it as if it could be a threat, or maybe you're like, this is relieving. Perhaps a sign for you that this means you can relax. This is relieving. It's like nothing to fear, you know. I don't have a fear problem, but maybe one of you people do have the fear problem, and this is a sign to stop being afraid. You know, there's nothing to be concerned about. Sure, we can die at any time, any moment, anything could happen. It doesn't mean it's a catastrophe. You know, something could kill you tomorrow without ever affecting the universe, or everything could happen all at once. Anxiety is useless. I mean, you gotta, this is a message to live every day the best you can, because you're not gonna, there's no guarantee of tomorrow, right? And so why stress and worry about it when you can be at your best? And you know, if there's someone you want to talk to, don't wait a week, because the week may never exist. You know, talk to them now. That's a message for you. You know, that we always think we have time. We'll do it later, but later never comes when, you know, people are dead. I don't know, you'll have to meet them again in the spiritual room. The spiritual room, yes. Spiritual realm, yeah. Whatever. The thing about the spiritual dimension is that it can take the form of any room, much like a dream, but, you know, whatever. The point is, with these anomalies, with the anxiety around anomalies, they're not as scary, they're not as impactful as you might perceive them to be. So, yeah, this is kind of quite fitting with this reading, indeed. Anyway, and there's the stability of home. Interesting. You know, you're all safe because you don't have the fear. Anyway, you gotta make the most of every day. Okay, no day is guaranteed. If you did something wrong to someone, you gotta make up for that. You gotta say, you gotta approach them. You gotta hunt them down and say, hey, I did something, I'm sorry about it. I don't have that problem, because I never hurt people, but there's a bunch of people who hurt me and they never apologized. So, you know, it'd be nice if they hunted me down and said sorry. But they don't do that because they're cowards. So anyway, this is a lesson to appreciate what you have when you have it. And, you know, tomorrow's not guaranteed. Never wait. Okay, the anomaly is like something's coming into your life. Just temporarily, just once. And so you never know what they're gonna do. You never know where they're gonna fall. But, you know, you gotta appreciate what you got when you got it. Because you never know what's gonna happen. This dancer that shows up in the middle of the night, you don't like say, oh, I'll see you next time. There's not gonna be you next time, you know. Especially if you don't make a move, then they're like, oh well, that didn't work out. I was there. They didn't respect me. So anyway, I'm gonna pull. These are the cards, and I'm gonna do a clarifier. This one's coming. I'll put this right here and shuffle. And nope, that one goes there. This. Maybe this one. This one. Okay. This guy really want to come out. Goddamn. Alright, so this is the neat pile. The Earl Grey. You know, the established tea over here. And we got this Emperor. Interesting. That's a clarification card. So let's, well, maybe we do these first. That's an anomaly reading. Okay. So, let's just flip them all over. We got the Hanged Man. We got the Unstable Home. We got the Rest. We got, Queen of Pentacles. Knight of Wands. Typical. Ooh. Seven of Pentacles. Ooh, drama, reversed Empress. And we get, oh no, the Ace of Wands. And all the Page of Pentacles and the Fallen Home. The Conflict card in reverse with the Hanged Man actually not hanging himself. And hey, look at that. Wow, and I saved it for last. How interesting. Very interesting. There's beeping in the background. I hate that, but that might be confirmation for you. But anyway, golly, what a reading. How interesting. Okay, Earl Grey. The neat. How neat is this? Okay, this came out at the bottom of the deck that was like this. Okay, but now it's like this. Here's the anxiety, here's the fear, and what is this? This is the established empire. Okay. Alright, so here we go. So there's two ways I can interpret all of these things. As the actual comments, and what this means for the comet specifically. But then there's the social aspect. What does this mean for you? You came here because you're drawn to the neatness, and what does this mean for you in your life? And there's the individual reading. I'll give the individual interpretation. Then there's the collective, like group dynamic, societal overview, collective, and then specifically about this specific comet, and how neat it is. And so there's like 3 things per every pile. So okay. Let's do the comet first. The neat comet. Well, this, like I was saying, with all those cool things we gotta see. Here we go. Display cam, and then like this. Display cam. Alright. So we get to see all this, right? Yeah, that's pretty neat. We're looking at neat right here. You need to play this. How neat is this? I think it's pretty neat. So neat seems like one of those things that has been already established. It like does this all the time. You know, unlike this thing. It's like a real anomaly. Let's go in somewhere else. You know, these are these orbits. If we zoom out here, it's not even completed. So we got all these weird orbits that just like swing around the sun and then go away. Or this one, like the Atlas. This one just comes in and then leaves, so to speak. So we think we know. But anyway, yeah, there it goes. If I jump ahead. Look at this. They're all disappearing, you know, after a while. Click on the year. Gosh, 3 Atlas is still over there. That's weird. Anyway, this thing. Yeah, this is neat. This thing sticks around. Okay? It establishes itself. Lemmon's just a visitor. The K1 Atlas is a visitor. This Swan thing is like a visitor. I mean, frequent visitors. But then the 3i Atlas is like this. It's like, I'm only stopping here once. I'm moving on, kind of thing. So that's interesting. Let's see. October 7 and 1348. And you see that? Okay. So this is my birthday. And then we play. Oh, well, we'll just go like that. To the 20th, which is right now. Or the Swan. It's very close. Click on the Swan. Very close, right now. And then what really matters is Halloween. So, we'll look at that. There we go. So that's Halloween. Right now is the 20th. And that's where things are. Tah Dah! Alright. So you got that. Yeah, maybe you wanted to see that because this card came in. But, alright. So here we go. So what is this? This is like the look at this. This is all like the zodiacs and everything. And this is the male card. Okay, so males are all about like logic and external stuff. This like represents this solar system and all the zodiacs that's been categorized, and you know, the community, the external aspects. This is the established order of the solar system, right? And here's this thing. Yeah, this is the anxiety card, but so there might be some sort of thing about let's go back here. You see that? Yeah. Okay. So this one's on a direct path. Where is it? Where's the need? So this one is on a predictable orbit that just goes around, 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 and then here's all these anomalies. And so we're concerned with these anomalies hitting planets and everything, but what if it interacts with NEAT sometime? And let's just play that, I guess. Yeah, maybe like around here or something. He's getting pretty close to these other things. So it's all about like how paths can intersect and change. Just because you got there's a light I'm using right there. Okay. Anyway, light off, light on, light off, light on. So anyway, so this is the order, right? This is what we know. This is logic and facts and everything that's been established and organized. And what if, you know, one of these things changes? You know, there's this this uncertainty, this fear and stress and anxiety of something changing with that, interacting. Okay, if this thing is going in a usual stable orbit, and then this anomaly comes by and changes this, well, then it can affect other things. And so there's a concern here with what is established, what is known, what is orderly, to change. And so there's this unnecessary fear that I was talking about, that, you know, the fear is unnecessary because change is inevitable, and just because our perspectives have changed doesn't mean that everything's bad. The threat here is with this guy's ego, right? It's like, I categorized everything. Everything has its place. There are no anomalies. And here's this anomaly. It's like, well, what do I do with this anomaly? This doesn't fit all my categorizations. And so you just expand your knowledge. You know, you start understanding all these things. This is the vengeance right here. A nightmare, basically. You know, challenging you with your fears. And so, yeah, you just gotta see the situation from a different perspective. Like, the solar system is very, go like that again. The solar system is very much, kind of like the fundamental elements of all of life, right? You got the atom, and all these protons, neutrons, electrons, and stuff. And so when we're teaching this, then we want consistent circles, you know? Like, these are the electrons flying around and everything. You know, there's a circle here, there's a circle here, there's a circle here. Oh, this circle's not a perfect circle, it's kind of twisted. And then here's this thing. That's not a perfect circle. And so what do we do with this? You know, this thing has an orbit. It goes all the way out of here. And this one and this one. How do we think about this? And this is just one perspective. This is a flat representation. Because the reality is like this. You know, they're not just all on the same plane. You know, they're flying off everywhere. Moving around. And so, what we have to do is adapt. to the reality of the situation. We might want everything flat, but it's on multiple planes of reality, and so we're trying to learn about it. We're trying to categorize it. We're trying to understand this, and yeah. Here, I'll go back in time. There you go. And so things are different than what they appear. I mean, everything's like all organized, and then things are different just because it looks like this from this, but then it looks like that from that. So that's how life is. And so what is this order? This is how we understand things, how we teach things, how we go through everyday life again and again. This is the established thoughts. So this is like all the science that has ever been collective, all the data, all the logic, and then what do we do with this thing that doesn't compute, this thing that's that isn't logical, that throws a wrench or a sword into the system of all these gears. So it's a learning opportunity. The thing is, you can't be rigid and say, no, this is the way, this is the only way. Well, things are going to break because of that. You have to learn how to adapt and flow. Oh, things go like this, instead of just like this. There's all these interpretations, and so there's the fear here that needs to be addressed. The not just the fear of if something's going to hit Earth or something else, sure, that might be a concern, but the real fear here, the underlying message, is that the structure is no longer valid because there's an anomaly that doesn't fit in this structure. A very fitting reading that is quite neat indeed for this thing. And so what does this mean collectively? Well, this is the empire. This is what humans have established throughout everything, and with all the spiritual heightening of things changing, then it can cause the fear, because things that we are used to, especially like if you're an earth element and you're used to things just always existing, well, this is the time of change, okay? Things are changing, and so earth elements in particular are gonna freak out about it. It's like, things are changing, I don't know. As air types and fire types, we love the adaptability, so we don't have the fear. We're finally excited, but the waters and the earths take the path of least resistance, and they're rigid and stuff like that, and so they like things to be predictable. They like things orderly. They like the structure, and when there's a threat to that structure, then they freak out about it. And so what the anomalies invite in to, like, say, a building, like this could be an earthquake, this could be a building. Well, what happens? The earthquake didn't happen before, but now that it did, you can change the building. You can create the building to actually endure all these earthquakes. Just because it didn't happen before doesn't mean that you shouldn't prepare for something to happen again. Like, don't just rebuild it the exact same way. Learn and adapt from this anomaly to make your buildings better. If this is a tornado, make a structure that can survive a tornado in a tornado area. Learn about flood zones and, predict. You might have, you did all this planning, you did all this data, but you forgot, because it never happened before. You forgot about the flood zones, in the mountains. You never think, like, in the mountains, there could be this dramatic flash flood, but now we know, because it happened. Because this anomaly occurred, and now we can predict that. We can think about it and build stuff to suit this new reality. And so, this is how it is, like, regarding anything. In your individual life, if you made all these plans, but then there's something that doesn't fit in that plan, and there's the stress, and there's the anxiety, and like, what am I gonna do about this anomaly? You know, this could be a person as well in your life that you're thinking about from an individual perspective. You know, what are they gonna do? Like, how has things changed? Are they gonna stay with their predictable patterns? Are there things you don't know about them? And so the challenge here is the fear of change, of what stays the same. You know, if you want someone to change and they have the same old habits, well, you know, that can be a threat. So, you know, perspective shift. Like, you think with all these tower moments, with things crumbling down, it ultimately provides a better foundation to occur later. You know, you want your structures to be able to withstand all of these anomalies, and so you need the anomalies to actually occur to build up the structure. And so what's currently going on with the whole change of the whole like era of Capricorn into Aquarius, and then there's something else that happened, like we were in Pisces and now we're still going into Aquarius from the opposite direction. I don't know what that's about, but it's like double Aquarius, and it's all introspection and about humanity and togetherness and stuff, so things are changing. And so anything that was previously, it needs to adapt. And so you just got to figure out how to adapt with that. Pretty neat, I would say, that we get these two cards like this. I find it neat. How about you? Okay, so moving on to the lemon. Alright. I'm gonna take a break because that exhausted me. Alright. Okay, so here's the love of lemons. This is the lemon reading. There we go. This is it. Alright, so what we got? We got the Hanged Man. Alright, that's not hanging. He's actually upright. This is a guy who took the time to see things from a different perspective, right? And then he finally made his decision. He's finally going to do something with his life. And this is the conflict card that is reversed. So this means conflict, and this means no conflict. Like, you saw your way out of a situation. So like, if you go like this, you're taking the time to be introspective about all these conflicts and look at these wands and everything. It's just like the solar system right here. You know, you gotta track everything and do science and whatever. And so, you know, the swinging, and it's just very celestial, you know, the solar system and everything. And so you take the time to learn and understand where all these things are going, and then you got the clarity because you see their trajectories, and you can understand this. So you don't have the fear, you have the understanding. You could do something about it. This is an action card. Okay, here he's just taking in knowledge. He's specifically not doing anything, so he can gain an understanding, so he can think about all of his thoughts. And then here, he's actually doing something about it. So this could be resolving a conflict, which is quite fancy indeed. I love this personally. There's so many people who cause conflict and they don't do anything to resolve it. So this guy, he's actually thought about it, and he's actually going to do something about it. And he's resolving the conflict. This is a fantastic guy. Sign for a guy. Anyway. So, as a society, you know, this could mean, like, people are taking the time to be introspective, to think about all the conflicts of, all the chaos, all the anomalies in their lives, and, you know, find a way to actually resolve this, to all these obstacles, all these threats. As a society, we're like the whole age of Aquarius thing. We're being introspective. We're thinking about the people, and we're finding a reality that can solve a situation. And from an individual perspective, this is a sign that society is actually thinking and actually acting upon what they think about. It's not just like this dreamy wonderland. It's like, alright, the time has passed, it's time to take action. And the action resolves the conflict, whatever this is. This could be an obstacle, this could be people, this could be a group, this could be a social norm, a trend that needs to be dealt with. You know, it's damaging. What this is damaging. And so you're thinking about it. And then you stop thinking about it because you have the answer. You got the solution. You solved the problem. And there's no more damage. So you made a good decision. And individually, you know, it could be inner conflict. You know, something holding you back. Something that's just always on your mind, and you're thinking about all the angles, all the strategies within yourself or within, like, your relationships for your people. And then you got your plan of action. That's going to be like the most beneficial plan ever that resolves all your fears and frustrations. And so that's a fantastic sign. Regarding the lemon, I mean, this could be, you know, just like science. Doing your science thing about predictable paths. Like, this was the unknown. This was the data, collecting data, thinking about all these different scenarios. You know, when you're doing a projection, like think about hurricanes, for example. There's a projected path. It could go like this, it could go like that, it could like go around like that. And so you gotta think about it. And then, you know, all these scenarios you prepare for, all these conflicts, you know, it could flood this part of the world, it could flood that part of the world. You think about it, and then you got all your data, and you make a plan of action to minimize the damage over here. And, you know, in space, you know, this guy's in space, so maybe someone's doing something in space about the lemon. Somehow, with movement and trajectory and resolving some sort of conflict. I don't know, maybe something broke apart, and all these little pieces could be flying, crashing into things, but it seems like, you know, it's been calculated. It's been trajectory-ified, and you thought about it. You looked at it, and now you know what's going on. So that's that. That's the lemon. You know, it's very important to actually take action. Like I was saying earlier about, like, how people cause a conflict, make a mistake, you know, cause all this damage, but they don't do anything about it. Maybe they have the regret, but they don't take action about it. This is a fantastic sign that this guy's actually taking action to resolve something, and so that's wonderful. You gotta do that with your life. It doesn't mean that you're the thing that caused the damage, but there's a situation that could provide healing, and so you're taking action to make that happen. Now the swan. Now the swan. I can't pick up the swan. There. Swan. It is swan time. Okay, so my first anomaly reading, I was talking about the swan and how I had a swan memory of me trying to be a swan, and so then I got punched because someone thought, like, I turned the kids in, and then the kids hunted me down and punched me. So the thing is, it was all about perspective, right? Because they were on my white line and I was being a swan, and so they got in my way and they punched me because they perceived me to be something that I was not. I was not the one who turned them in. I was not the one that caused whatever conflict. Of course, they're the bad kids, because they punched me. But, anyway, The Swan Princess, it's a Disney story. And that's all about, like, the message with the Swan Princess is that there's this other swan princess who's pretending to be the real Swan Princess. And so it's all about perspective. And the whole thing about that movie is like, it's not what it seems. And so that's why I'm doing the swan reading, because swans are special to me, apparently. And they're also romantic, you know? They do the whole romance thing, which is fantastic. And out of all these cards, you know, I'm making my own cards. MakePlayingCards.com. And this could be any image. And they printed a swan specifically, and I got it. And it's a heart. And no one ever loved me. So, yeah, it's special to me. I don't know. And here we go. This is not a happy home without the love. And here's this guy. He's probably single because he doesn't have this happy home. Gosh. So this could be wealth. This could be anything physical. It could be health. It could be wealth. It could be resources. This could be a ring, like someone's making a proposal, but like it doesn't work out or something. You know, it's not what it seems. That's the whole message, where it's not as it seems. So maybe this is supposed to be like this. You know, maybe there's just like the anxiety that it can't work out, because there's two home cards. There's the Four of Wands and the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is like this overly abundant happiness of like this big giant home with all the resources and the emotional happiness. But this Four of Wands is like a small house. Okay, it's happy, but it's not extravagant, it's not grand. Here's a page, he's not a king. And so, you know, there could be this concern, like, you can't offer the Ten of Cups, the Ten of Cups experience, but you gotta value the Four of Wands here. You know, so it's not a big house. No one, it takes a long time to clean a big house. There's so many other things that can go wrong. If you have something small, you can work with that, you can contain it, you can take care of it. And so the small home is something that can be loving. You need the love. You have to have the love element, because if you don't have love, then any living situation, any living scenario is gonna fall. It's gonna fail. And this guy's protecting his heart, you know? He's guarded. He's having his shield over this heart. This could be male or female. And so, you know, you want the foundation of your love, of your house, to have love. And this could just be, if you're single, this could just be your room. Okay, you gotta make sure that your room is your safe space. This is anxiety, you know? Okay, yeah. Because the swan, what is it? Asteroid, comet, whatever. The comet of the swan is coming close to Earth, right? Our home. And so there's the shield right here. And yeah, sure, the scientists might say it's not going to collide or whatever. Maybe it can. We don't know that. Especially since the scientists like to be silent and not tell us anything, especially regarding this Atlas situation. But anyway, yeah, there's the whole like Mars thing and the resting. Nope, not saying anything. Anyway, so here's the swan, and it's coming really close to Earth. I'll show you. Right here. So October 20th, 10:36. Oh, look at that! I am 36. Yay! Happy birthday to me. Here's the swan. Where's Earth? That's 2027. Okay, let's do 2025. Where'd Earth go? There's Earth. There's Swan. Okay, I'll click on Earth. So there's Earth right now, and here's Swan. And you zoom in, and it's like, oh, well, it's super far away. It's not gonna do much at all, you know? But then if you zoom out, you know, oh no, it's gonna collide with Earth. Eventually, maybe from this direction. And so, yeah, when you zoom in, it's like, oh, it's not a threat, it's way over there. But it's pretty close, you know, cosmically, you know, with all these stars of everything, of everywhere. Well, here we got a swan right next to us. So it's pretty special. Maybe we can't see it. Maybe some people can. And so, yeah. Yeah. Oops, it's Mars. Swan. Okay. Earth. No, that's not Earth. Swan. There we go. Yeah. It's all about perspective. It's not what it seems, right? From this perspective, it looks like it's colliding with Earth. From this perspective, it's like far away. So, it's not what it seems. There's the orbit plane right there. It's Earth's orbit. And it's even going up. And so, it's all about perspective. You get this perspective. And whoosh. There's the swans taking over the Earth. So, yeah. That's what happens. Anyway. So this is our home, right? And here's the shield. And so you might think like the swan is a threat. Because, you know, swans can be pretty vicious if you don't know how to approach a swan. Okay, even if you're trying to help a swan, like with their little swanlets or whatever, they're naturally defensive. They're gonna perceive that as an attack, right? They're gonna peck at you. But you know, you're trying to save all the little baby swans, and they might appreciate that once you actually save them. But the process of actually saving them, well, you get pecked at because it's overly protective. Because the swan thinks you're gonna eat them. It's like, oh, there's a vulnerable little swan. But the human's like, no, I'll save you. And then the swan's like, no, you're not. So, that's what swans do. Anyway, the story of the swan is about, oh, yeah. And like this whole little ring, if you do the swan thing in the story, Swan Princess, she had to fly onto the lake to transform into a woman, right? And so as she was a swan, she was seen as the beast, as this shapeshifter that stole her away and like ate her or killed her or something. And so the prince comes around and tries to shoot the swan, and the swan has to like dodge all of this and then go land on the lake, transform into a woman. And the prince is like, oh, you are beautiful again. And she's like, but what else? And he's like, what else is there? And so, it's not the best romantic story, but, anyway, I think he does say, well, there's so many things, you're brave and you're all this, but he's, like, really bad at saying it. And so, anyway, Odette's all like, hey, you gotta leave because someone else is here, and he'll kill you, so go, sure, whatever, compliments, just get out of here. But, anyway. As a writer, you know, that story could have been better, more romantic. I'm kind of disappointed in it, but the whole thing is transformation, change. Things are not as what they seem. You don't see the true picture, and so this false swan, the black swan, was sent to the palace to win the heart of the prince. Why the white swan was like hidden away, you know. She was pretending to be Odette when she wasn't. So she, like, back in the day, you know, if you wore black, then you're like all hidden and mysterious and dark and bad. You're like the evil character, and you wore white, you were virtuous and, you know, So they put her in a black dress, and she was wearing white with the whole swan thing, and so she never really transformed into a black swan, which would have been cool. You know, as a writer, I kind of want to see that, but that didn't happen. But anyway, the whole thing was there were two swans, right? Two princesses, and so because one was busy being a swan, the other was busy being a princess. Oh, here's a bird right here. That's kind of cool. So yeah, so and so that changed the timeline, right? The wrong girl got into this relationship, and he was fooled by it. He said, "Okay, let's get married." But you know, the story changes. So there could be an element of love here with someone about, like, who do you really choose? Who's pretending to be something they're not? Who's you know, just in it for the wrong reasons? And so you got your heart here, and you're guarded, and you know, things are not as what they seem. Okay, maybe you think it's love and it's not. Maybe you don't think it's love and it is. So be aware of perspective with the swan. Okay, so what do we got here? We got a page protecting his heart, or her heart, and a family. And there's a kid there. You know, you might be protecting your womb. You might not want a pregnancy. You might not want to put your trust into this guy. Maybe you just want a friends with benefits situation. And if a kid is produced through that, then that changes everything, right? And so you gotta decide if you want to keep it or not. And guard against that. You know, condoms. You know, I'm seeing a lot of signs out there about things that look like sperm, and so that's a sign that things are going to be created. Like, check this out. What do all these comets look like? Okay, if this is the egg, right? Our solar system is the egg, right? Then all these comets come in, and they're like sperm, trying to make something happen, right? What does sperm do? They compete with each other to bring about this new creation of life. Okay? These are all the different aspects. And so, you know, maybe like this WIERZCHOS is like a weak sperm. Okay? And this swan is like a strong sperm. And so, the swan is going to have a better chance at surviving in the solar system than the WIERZCHOS. Okay, so the WIERZCHOS gets eliminated, and the swan keeps on prospering. Right there. Okay. And it's close to Earth. I'm using the swan right there. So, gosh, so what does this mean to you? Like, if this is the cosmic egg, and this is all the sperm, what does that mean? Okay. It means that something's going to be created one way or another, and if that's in your plans, then maybe that's a happy family. I'm seeing all these signs of physical manifestation. So if you're a business, that's a fantastic sign of a product line. It's something physical, and so what does that mean? It means someone can be created from all this physical energy, and so if you don't want that to happen, you gotta guard against that in one way or another. And so this is a very abundant time. Like I was watching something. I think I have it. Hang on. Let me find it. I save these snips sometimes. 2025. Come on, where's it? Okay, look at this. Look at this. I was watching The World of Signs. Okay. And what does this look like? This looks like a baby taking its first breath. This is a baby breath. Down here in Mexico. Look at that. This is creation, okay? Look at... Can you see this? Yeah. Look at this. Alright. This is baby breath. Taking its first breath of life. There's even like a flower called baby breath. And that came out in like a tarot reading that I watched earlier. It's highly concerning to me. Because I don't want a child. But, this is a baby. In the sky. This is a sky baby. I think it's an air element. What do you think? Anyway, it's like taking its first breath. This is baby breath. It's a child. There's nose, lips, eyeball, head. Watch The World of Signs. Shout out, whatever. Yeah. Come on. Now what is this? Looks like an egg. Here's a heart. It looks like an egg. You know, something you eat on a pan. It's like a fried egg. Anyway. Yeah, here's a heart. And there's babies. Sky babies. Oh, look at that. And, you know, like, I block people when they say bad words, so, that's why. Anyway, what was I saying? Okay, like this. Look at this. It's all about creation. So there's so many signs out there about how someone, you know, maybe it's the Antichrist or something. That doesn't mean they're bad. Someone is being manifested, okay? And I don't want that to manifest within myself, if you know what I mean. And I'm getting all these signs, and I'm picking up on them, so that's really concerning. I don't want this. I mean, I want cats, okay? You know, just cover up the child there. We got a happy relationship. And get rid of those things. You know, we got cats. That's fantastic. Pets. Okay. And this is just a physical sign of a baby boom. Okay, the society. People are gonna be created. Okay, there's a new baby boom, and I don't want to be a part of it. And so, yeah, stock up on your condoms, on those morning after pills. You know, the Plan Bs. Because this came out in reverse. You don't want to be trapped in a situation where it takes away your freedoms, it makes you unhappy, you got this life to provide for when you want to start your career, and cosmically, there's something interfering with us, as my grandma is interfering right now. Something is interfering with our careers, with our paths, and so something's gonna disrupt that to cause us to be unhappy. And in this situation, that can be a child. Okay, I'm like right on the verge of all this fantastic career stuff, and so if I become pregnant, that's gonna change everything. Like, I don't plan on keeping it, but it's still something I don't need to go through. I don't need to have to happen to me. I don't want to happen to me, so, you know, I gotta guard myself against that. I gotta make sure any guy around me is able to control himself, and he's wearing his protection against this life thing that could happen. Okay, I was this child in this unhappy home. Okay, I know, you know, I grew up from this unhappy experience, and I don't want to be trapped as a woman to just produce life and have the guy take off. That's an epidemic, and it needs to be addressed. And so I'm seeing all these signs of life, and so people are going to be created, and you want the people created to be in happy homes. And it's a time to be an adult. It's a time to take responsibility. It's a time to protect yourself. It's a time to elevate yourself with standards, because you don't want to be in the situation of an unhappy home. So there's that message. And then the other message is perception. It's not what it seems. You know, sometimes unwanted pregnancies can lead you down a path that is very happy. Okay, so at the beginning of the situation, it could be something you never wanted, but it could transform into something amazing. And you don't know that, but life tends to happen. You know, there's plenty of people who are going down a bad path in their life, and then they accidentally have a child, and then they switch their life around, and they become better characters because of it. That's a possibility. There's this Emperor here trying to talk about it. Anyway. So, the other perception thing about how things are not as they seem. Just because you don't have the big fancy house doesn't mean you're not going to be happy with it. Okay? You need something controllable. You need something small that you can, you know, clean well, that you can provide for. You know, everybody needs their own room to, like, to have their privacy, to be distant enough that, you know, there's silence, so you can do your own thing and not get the stress of living super close together. You need a little bit of distance, but you can still have something small and be very happy with it if you have the love. You need the love for this to actually be well. And so, yeah. It came out like this. Okay? So you're guarded. But, you know, it's upside down, so maybe you're not guarded. You just want things to happen, but if you allow things to happen, like if you don't tell the guy to wear the condom, if you don't have that emergency backup plan B thing, because you want to be submissive, right? But if the guy is not going to wear the condom, if he's not going to control himself, then, oh no, a pregnancy. You got to stand up for yourself enough to say, hey, don't make me pregnant. And he'll be like, okay, I'll wear a condom. These guys, you gotta elevate yourself, you gotta have your standards, because most men will try to get away with things, and that's unfortunate, but that's the reality, and that's an Emperor again. That's not a sign of a real man. A real man would respect you, would always wear the condom, would never allow an accident to happen, and he would probably pay for all the Plan B stuff and the abortions too. So it's all about the quality of the people in your life. You gotta make sure, you know, a real man is actually taking action and will provide for you, and that's the one you want to be intimate with. And so, you know, with the whole Swan story about the Odette and the girl who was pretending to be Odette, and the prince's decision of who to marry and everything, it's all about relationships, about who's going to be the best for you. You gotta think about it. So this is like a non-committal energy in reverse. You know, with the lemon reading, you might want to think about, you know, and the neatness, thinking about your connections, and then there's a solution you're taking. So here's this, you know, guard yourself, make sure you have the perspective, see things from both sides, and make sure that whatever you create, you make it with love. Okay? This is nothing without the love. Okay, you could have the biggest house, you could have the smallest house. It's all about what's inside that house, and that's the love. You know, what should be in there. How did these go? I don't remember. Anyway, okay, so that's a swan. Choose wisely. That's your things are not as what they seem, and choose wisely. And remember, babies are gonna be everywhere. So protect yourself from that. Okay. Okay, now we got the Atlas. This is the one that was going around Mars. Okay, and so what happened with the Atlas? We don't know, because people were silenced about it. What is this? Well, this is Mars. This is the Atlas. Doing things to Mars, and we don't know what happened, because the scientists aren't talking about it. There was some sort of government shutdown thing, where NASA went offline during the most cosmic important event of all time. Really? That's what they did to society. So we know nothing, because all these professionals went offline during this amazing event. And so they're not sharing their data. They're not telling us anything. Like, I've been trying to research anything, but this is literally all I know. And so this is further confirmation as I struggle to talk there, about how this guy's just, he's like being so trendy. He's like, no, I'm not going to tell anything about anything. This is also, you know, spiritually, cosmically, on an energetic level, all this energy, you may feel tired right now. You may feel like things are just like, you're tired, you're resting, you don't know why, but like things are changing in dimensions that you're not aware of, all this energy and stuff. So you're gonna get downloads. You're gonna be like upgraded. You know, you get the download, you get upgraded, and so like think of yourself as a computer. You gotta take it apart to upgrade it, right? You gotta shut it down for it to reinstall things. And so this is what's going on cosmically. With this anomaly, this Atlas thing. And so you might feel tired and you don't know why. Well, this is why. Things are changing. And what's practically being done about this? Well, the scientists aren't saying anything about it. I don't know why. They're keeping their secrets. Maybe just out of spite, you know? Because, sure, some scientists are still collecting data, but they're still not saying, hey, we have this. We're still analyzing it, but this is what we got. No, they're keeping it all to themselves. They're being silent about it. They're hoarding all this knowledge about this event, and that's unfortunate. That leads to revolution. This is also a card of vengeance. Okay, this is hope. This is inspiration. This is creativity, and this is vengeance. This is this is anger. This is aggression, and this is all this aggression and anger and revolution regarding this silence, regarding this inaction. This is quite fitting indeed, because this is exactly what's going on. There's secrets, and they're not taking the effort. They're being trendy about it, because something important happened. They're like, nope, we're not going to talk about it because we're so trendy. And it's really unfortunate. This is a big problem in society. And what does fire do? Fire destroys. Okay, they had their chance. They had their time. What this does, check this out. It goes like this. Okay, this moment, alright, this moment of a grand cosmic shift of energy that's being downloaded into all of society, and the people in charge, this empire that is falling, they're not doing their jobs, right? So we got to go into leadership mode. We got to take the torch ourselves and get off the couch, you know, and do something about it. This is us finding the inspiration to do things ourselves. You know, what's going on? All the people with their telescopes are like, well, I'm gonna look at it. Okay, the scientists aren't doing their job. I'm gonna get out my telescope and look at Mars myself. You know, you're gonna wake up, you're gonna be active, you're gonna do something about it. I mean, remember, This is the cosmic energy, and you need your rest and relaxation. But this is also, you know, this moment of silence, of this this refusal to act by our governments. This is inspiring you to take action yourself. Okay, you need your rest and relaxation, or you'll get burned out. But you know, this is the inspiration to take action. So you got to balance that. You got to rest, so you don't get burned out, and you got to be inspired to take action yourself, because the old empire is crumbling. Okay, we got to do things ourselves. We got to see through the deception. Choose a strategy that actually mends the situation instead of causing all the conflict. Get rid of the anxiety and focus on love to make the most out of your circumstances, to actually take action and change society. So that's what that's about. Kind of a clear message right there. Okay. Alright, and so this is the other atlas. And let's check this out. Right here. And so this is the 21st of October. Right now it's the 20th. So, Swan is right near Earth right now, and this is the Mars Atlas. And here's this other atlas, the K1 Atlas. And if I go forward in time, okay, go backwards in time. Okay, so on the 7th, the other atlas was behind the sun, right? And so now, on the 20th, Swan is near Earth. And then we go to Halloween time. Oh, wait. Yeah, okay. Never mind. Okay, so, what do you see? You see everything. Okay. Alright, so... Alright, I'm not sure if I made a mistake or not. Okay, so on my birthday, okay, this other atlas was behind the sun. And now, on the 20th, this atlas has moved past Mars. And there's Mars right there. It's moved past Mars and is now going behind the sun. And so this guy, this hibiscus right here, this is the other Mars that was behind the sun on my birthday, on the 7th, when this was by Mars. So this is the K1 Atlas. Okay, I'm just gonna call this Mars, and this is the sun. Alright, on my birthday, it was about like this. And now, it's like this. Okay, so this is now behind the sun. This was behind the sun when this was near Mars on my birthday. So, yeah, 36 now, yay. Anyway, we'll go like this. And so here's some confirmation. Verify what you see. Yep, you see this. So here's the Swan, here's Earth, here's the K1 Atlas behind the sun on my birthday. And here's the 3-1 Atlas, who was near Mars on the 3rd of October. And so now it's the 20th. And so now the 3-1 Atlas is behind the sun, as Earth is right here, and the Swan is right close to Earth. Here's the other atlas. And meanwhile, there's this lemon. What is Lemon doing? Lemon's just hanging out. Lemon was near Venus when Atlas was near Mars. Okay. Neat's just hanging out back here watching the whole show. They think that's pretty neat. And, is there another one? Oh, this thing. WIERZCHOS. It's just like taking a position in the background. Kind of watching the whole show from afar as well. So that's a message for WIERZCHOS, you know. Things, they're just observing, not taking action. Whereas all these things are like dancing on the floor. This is this guy in the background just holding on to his drink. And, yeah. Maybe this is security. I don't know. But, alright, so that's what's going on. This is October 7th. First Atlas behind the sun. Or, not. second atlas. K1 atlas behind the sun. 3-1 atlas over there. And now, right now, 3-1 atlas behind the sun. And the K1 atlas is gonna fly away. Where's K1 going? Lemmon's gonna pass Mercury in November. And then Lemon in the WIERZCHOS. It's gonna be around Venus and Mars. Alright, there's romance right there. A WIERZCHOS and Lemon. This is like a very citrusy opportunity. I don't know. Anyway, when is this? December? Yeah, this is like the solstice time around there. Or, yeah, winter solstice. When the Swan and the Atlas, the K1 Atlas and the Neat are gonna go around. 3-1 Atlas is headed towards Jupiter, and the WIERZCHOS and Lemons are hanging out with the Venus and the Mars. Something romantic's going on in December. And if we go back, we look at Mercury and the Lemon. About there. Alright, the Lemon's gonna interact with the Mercury, and this is communication, okay? You know, what is vitamin C? Okay, it helps our throats, right? We take vitamin C when our throats feel off. And so, it's kind of a vocal message for November, the beginning of November. And then by the time, this is communication, right? Okay, so the girl and the guy talks about things. And then in December of the solstice, check this out. We got the WIERZCHOS and the Lemons and the Venus and the Mars. Oh, and communication. Direct communication there. So, December. I'll do a reading about that. Golly. Alright. Meanwhile, there's these things. Go back in time. The K1 Atlas is approaching Earth in the beginning of December. Late November. Let's see. That's about, Thanksgiving time. So it's near Earth, around Thanksgiving. There's Venus, communication, Mercury communication, Venus love, Earth. That's kind of neat. There's the Lemon behind the sun, almost, with Mercury. And then we get to Halloween. There's 31st, Halloween. Lemon and Mercury. Atlas is behind Venus with Earth. And the Swan's close to Earth. And the WIERZCHOS kind of close to Mars. I don't know. Anyway. That's what's going on. Hibiscus. Yes, hibiscus represents this atlas. Click on that. This atlas. So let's go back in time and check out what this atlas does. Here's the Swan. Here's the atlas. All right, they have a brief interactive moment almost. Yeah. So the K1 Atlas is near the Swan in the beginning of September. And then comes around near Mercury to talk about things at late September. And then beginning of October. It's kind of close to Venus. In between Venus and Mercury, behind the sun, with Earth right there. There's my birthday. Interesting. And then swoops around. Not too close to Lemon. And it continues on. Kind of close to Earth. About Thanksgiving. And it goes on. Okay, so let's see. What do we get? Alright, so this is the K1 Atlas, Hibiscus. And we got some interesting, this is near Earth around, what's it called? Thanksgiving. I gotta confirm that. Alright, when is Thanksgiving? That's November, around here. Yeah, the K1 Atlas is near Earth in November, late November, and it takes off. Okay, so interesting. We get some girly cards here. Alright. Okay, so Hibiscus, K1 Atlas, and it's around Thanksgiving, near this time. What do? Women cook, right? Thanksgiving's kind of a traditional time where the females usually cook and the guys watch sports or whatever. It doesn't mean that the women aren't watching sports and the guys aren't cooking, but it's traditionally women are cooking things around Thanksgiving. And if you don't have a family, well, where are you gonna eat? You know, are you gonna cook for yourself? Or are you gonna go to the local fast food place? Are they even open? We don't know. But anyway, the Empress. We got this Emperor over here, right? And he's in rising energy, and we got the Empress in falling energy. This does suggest either okay. When the Emperor and the Empress come out, they usually symbolize romance, right? But when one of them's falling, it represents all the bad characteristics of that element, but not necessarily. Reversed doesn't mean bad intention. Reversed just means distressed. Okay, this could be overwhelming with all the cooking, with all the what is it? Family activity and everything. This could be overwhelming to a feminine, because it's their big day of family and food and everything. You know, this could be a daughter. This could be someone who's just doing a little bit of the food, while the mother's like doing all of it and stressed out. And the thing about families, okay, here's this unhappy home here. And maybe this is the son, not too thrilled about trying to cook, but the girl's trying to cook, and there's this father watching sports over here or something. It doesn't seem like he is, because he's not in reverse. Maybe he's actually taking an active role to provide. Maybe he's a cook, maybe he's a chef. But then here's this female card with all the stress, and here she is again with all the stress. So something is stressing out this mother about all the food and stuff. So here's a message of perfectionism. Okay, I never had a family, so family dynamics are new to me, but I've observed mostly entertainment shows where all this family stuff, like all this drama occurs and everything, and so usually the mother is super stressed out about having everything just perfect and right and everything, and it doesn't need to be perfect, okay? Things don't have to be specifically there or everything. It's about the love. It's about the compassion. That's what has to be in the home. Okay, it doesn't have to be the right dishes, the right side dishes or silverware or anything. With the Queen of Pentacles, this is a very materialistic card as well. So you could be prioritizing the materialistic aspects of the fancy clothes and all the things that look aesthetically pleasing, and yet you're neglecting the main the main element of this time of thankfulness and giving, and this could be you're overwhelmed because you're giving too much. That could be a thing, but there's this element of you want everything to look nice, and yet when you're forcing everything to look nice, someone could be very controlling in that, and like, you have to wear the pretty dresses, you have to use the fine silverware, and this can be very, like, kind of like a dictator. Like, you got to do this at this time, you got to do that. That's very, very controlling, and so there's no love within this this celebration of togetherness. You're missing the point. Not necessarily you, but someone. Someone is missing the point of being together by stressing about all the aesthetics. There has to be, like, a turkey on Thanksgiving. There's the turkey right there. There's your I was gonna say your peacock. There's your peacock you're gonna eat. But you know, maybe, you know, this girl doesn't want anybody to eat her peacock, okay? So you're thinking about, what else can we eat? Can we eat deer? Okay, can we eat bunnies? It doesn't have to be a giant turkey. It doesn't have to be a giant peacock. It doesn't have to be a deer. You could eat whatever. You could eat garbanzo beans. Okay? It's up to you. It doesn't have to be the traditional. That's another thing. This is all tradition. This is all the order that's always been this and that. And here's the chaos, the stress. Like, we can't be how it was. This is different. So there's this stress and anxiety about, well, if it's different, then that means you're failing, right? No, wrong. This is just different. Okay, it's okay to eat garbanzo beans on Thanksgiving. You don't need to kill the peacocks right there. It's you could eat deer. You could eat bunnies. You could eat bunnies for Thanksgiving. It's just this idealistic kind of aesthetic, like everything has to be traditional, everything has to be perfect. That destroys the home. That destroys the family. That destroys the love in this environment. And what is Thanksgiving? It's about coming together. It's about embracing the togetherness of being thankful for having people in your life. And a good way to get people out of your life is by being too controlling and restrictive in tradition. Okay, this established order isn't good enough. Okay, if it doesn't make room for actual love, of actual caring, if it doesn't allow for adaptation, then the empire falls. Then it crumbles. You see things from a different perspective, and then you can be okay. You can avoid the conflict. And so what else does the Empress represent? Okay, the Emperor and the Emperor, the Emperor and the Empress. This is feminine, this is masculine over here. What they are avatars, okay? The Empress represents, you know, she has all these zodiacs and everything. This represents the feminine side, the internal side, the emotional, the creative element of all this order, of all this like, the masculine represents the logic and stuff. This is the emotions. This is the feelings. Like, where this guy's thinking about, need to remember the difference between astrology and astronomy. One of the two. This is like the meanings of the zodiacs is the feminine one, and the masculine's like where the planets are currently located and how they're moving and stuff. This is like, what do we feel about it? And this is like, what is actually out there doing the things? Where are they located? What are they named? And this is like the zodiac, the stars, the planets, the zodiac, the meanings, the feelings. And so it also represents the internal aspects of completion. And this was in reverse. And so since the emperors and the empresses, they're like avatars, right? She represents all the queens, the 4 queens combined. So like, she's like the mother and all these are the daughters, right? Or like the hierarchy, like she's the empress who controls all the queens. He's the emperor who controls all the kings. And so when this is in reverse with this upright, it suggests, like, if you're trying to get like one with the universe and feel whole and stable, then you gotta work on the physical aspect. Like, you're almost complete, but there's this physicality. Now maybe this means that you're only doing the physical, and so you've already mastered the physicalness. You know, you got your income, you got your health, you got your resources, but you're lacking everything else. The air element, the fire element, the water element. So you need the emotions. Love. You need the intellect. You need the adaptability of the air. And the fire, the fiery passion. This is reflected right here. Like, you mastered the physical dimension. Now you gotta get to the emotional dimension. The intelligence dimension of perspective and thoughts and adaptability and flow and change. Like, you're very comfortable with being grounded. Okay, you're like, this is the ground element, like I was talking about before. It's difficult for the ground elements to embrace change because they're so grounded, so used to predictability, so used to patterns and formalities, tradition. So it could be you breaking out of tradition to embrace change, to embrace adaptability. First comes emotions, right? You're the physical element. You've mastered that. So now you're moving on to the water element. Physical elements, they're stubborn, right? They're like rocks. Okay, they don't move. They don't move on anything. It's their way. That the physical element, they do things repetitively to do the tradition over and over again, because that's tradition. And so the water element takes the path of least resistance. It's more movable. It's emotional. And here's this feminine card that is the card of emotions, right? And so you gotta embrace the emotional aspect. If you're too traditional, then people can be hurt by that. You gotta show your love. You gotta actually embrace the meaning of your traditions emotionally. You can't just say, okay, we always have to have these flowers over here. We always have to have this fabric over there. But what about the emotional impact? Are you stressing everybody out by saying we have to have those flowers? We gotta have that over there. What about the emotions? Like, I'm glad you're here. I'm happy to see you again. Like, if you're not doing that, then why would anybody show up? You gotta embrace the people in your life while they're in your life, or there's no point to your traditions. And so once you embrace the emotions with the water element, and the flow state. Okay, here, this is structure, this is order. Okay, you make all your plans, right? But then an anomaly comes, and so your plans have to be sidetracked. Okay, this can cause a lot of stress because you're wanting to do your plans because you planned everything out. You're very logical and structured, and you did everything by tradition. And you got a time for this, a time for that. But then, someone interrupts your plans. Okay, with this anomaly. Maybe they have an emotion. and they want to talk about their emotions, and so you make time for them. You actually make time for them. And so that everything you planned for this big special event, well, you know, you're adapting, okay? You don't know how to work with that with your schedule, so you embrace the water element and go with the flow, you know? This could be anything. So, like, you take care of the person emotionally, you listen to them, you're supportive of them, and that's the emotional element of this whole celebration. Like, why come together at all if you're not going to be there emotionally? With the water element, going with the flow, it's like, say you're working on a project or something, and you got all this time organized and everything. The water element, if you embrace the water element, then, you know, maybe you don't go from start to beginning. Okay, you go with the flow of your emotions. And what does that look like? Well, it could mean like working on one project at the end of it, and then jumping over here, working on the beginning, working on the middle, putting that project off to the side, work on something else. It's not part of your structure, it's not part of your plan, but you're going with the flow of emotions, and you're actually getting more done because you're excited about it. You're going with the flow, with the energy, like this thing. I was planning on doing full readings for everything, but I just went with the flow of it, and it's I'm talking for hours about 2 cards right here. So that's all I gotta do. I'm going with the flow. It's not what I planned, but you know, I'm adapting, and that brings you to the air element. Once you go with the flow, learn how to do that. What is water? Water is an element that takes the path of least resistance and gets pushed around by the air, right? The winds of change. The wind comes around, pushes the water around. And so to the earth element, it's like, that doesn't seem fair. I gotta stand my ground. I gotta be like a rock. And so, you know, that's not, what is it, conducive to your overall survival. You gotta learn how to move. And so the water teaches us to go with the flow, to move with the winds of change. And then once you get to the air element, you create the winds of change yourself. You know, you take the time to look at all the other possibilities, and instead of going with the flow like the water, you make the flow happen. You change things. You become the anomaly yourself. You do this winds of change. You mix things up because you know, all this structure, all this tradition. It's like, well, why are we doing that? You ask questions. You think about it. It's like, well, okay, the flowers symbolize love. Well, do we actually have love in this home? Or are we so stressed about the perfect flowers that we're yelling at each other? We're causing conflict. How about we think about the real meaning of these flowers? Even if we don't have the flowers, you know, we could still have the love. You know, if you make the love happen. And so the air element is all about thinking about these ideas and putting them into action, to think about how to move around a situation. Okay, there's this unmovable force that's in the way. You know, the solid thing is to confront it head on. The water thing is to go with the flow, move around it. The air thing is to also dance and flow and fly around. And so if you want to embrace the true Empress, you have to have all the elements of your life. Okay, what are the elements? The elements are the states of matter. Alright, we got the solid with the earth, we got the liquid with the water, we got the gas with the air, and we got the plasma with the fire. And so this whole spirituality thing of the elements has a practical application of the states of matter. And what's after that is the spirit. Okay? And in tarot, this is reflected. But we got the earth cards, we got the wand cards of fire, of plasma, of energy, and we got the air cards of intellect, of ideas, and then we got these things. These are the spirit cards, right? This is Earth. But these are the spirit cards, where they're implementing all of the elements. And that's the next elemental thing, the either, the either, you know, either way's fine. and so we go through all these states of matter. And that's the purpose of the zodiac, is to be born into a polarity, so we can learn that lesson of the polarity and adapt and change and move on. And we don't just have one sun sign, we have like all these different aspects. And so, you know, you challenge that. It's like, okay, my sun sign says I'm this. Am I bound to that? No. I'm introspective. I'm thinking about things. There's all these different other factors. And so you find the freedom in change. You find the freedom of adaptability, of the anomaly. You embrace the anomaly. And then, you know, you get your passion back. You get that inspiration, that fire, that plasmatic electrical motivation. Okay? So that's what I think is the hibiscus thing. It's like, you're on the path of being the Empress. Alright? But you've mastered the physicality. Or this is reversed and you mastered everything else. And you need to master the physicality, but you would think it'd be like that, you know. But whatever. Energies could be reversies for you, but it's not what it seems, right? You know. Maybe it's like that, and maybe you got to master all the physicality and put structure into your life, and you've done the whole adaptive thing. You do the passion of embracing the fire, and what is fire? What is the energy? This is inspiration. This is energy. This is that spark. Okay, so if you have someone in your life, for some reason, wait, this was like this. Okay. Okay, so if you have someone, what was my point? Alright, so how you deal with people, right? Okay, so the physicalities, the earth elements, that's all about the physical, okay? How something looks, the health of it, the resources. Alright, it's aesthetics, it's health, it's provisions, and then the water is the okay, so the water is the emotions. The water is how you feel about something. So when you're making decisions, there's the physical aspects. Okay, well, the car is something physical. It's a vessel. I need all these resources. You know, I need to bring my knife if I'm traveling. I need to bring water in the car. So when I'm thirsty, if I break down, I got these tools. I got the cell phone. You know, all these resources you're thinking about of bringing on your trip. Like the gift. Okay, I might want to bring a gift for someone. You know, that's what you think about. And now there's the emotions, the water element. Okay. What's gonna make me happy on this trip? You know, if I break down into tears, who's actually gonna comfort me? Is there anybody around who would actually care about the tears? Why show up at all if they don't, you know? The emotions, does this make me happy? When you make decisions with your emotions, you know, there's the physical decisions of, are they going to provide a resource? Are they going to make the turkey? Well, if there's no turkey, then you don't go, because that's a resource decision. If you're not going to eat bunnies there, then why show up at all? Okay, if you're dedicated to eating bunnies, then, you know, turkey's not going to do it for you. But anyway, that's a physical decision. Then there's the emotional decision. Like, are you going to get a hug if you show up? Do you even want the hug from that person? Are they worthy of your hug? That's the emotions, okay? Then there's the air element, the intelligence, okay, the perspective, logic, okay? It's like, well, if I show up, then I can change everything, okay? The winds of change. I can communicate. I can talk. What about the conversations we're gonna have? How can I influence things to happen emotionally or physically with my words, with my communication? That's the air element. You finally learn how to talk, so you talk about something, and so that's the winds of change. All this anxiety, if you just talk about it, it resolves the conflict, and then you get your emotional satisfaction of the hugs, and that's a physical thing. And so, what is this? This is plasma. This is energy. Okay. This is different. Okay. So you might think, logically, this is a bad idea. Why would you ever go back to someone if they hurt you? That doesn't logically make any sense. Emotionally, all they did is make you cry, right? And so there's all that tears. You're still crying about them. And then there's the physicalities. It's a long distance away. I mean, why make that trip at all? Okay, maybe they might hug you, but why would they if you have all these bad memories, okay? And so you make the decision based out of energy, okay? Because you feel something, despite all the logic. You know, it doesn't make sense. There's no logical reason to go back to someone who hurt you, right? Who made all these tears, who made you cry. And it's a physical distance that, you know, they wouldn't even take 2 steps to meet you where you're at, but you travel over 1,000 miles because you feel something, because there's this energy. And so it doesn't logically make sense. There's no emotional reason. Physically, it's an obstacle, but you feel something. You got that spark. Okay, this isn't just lust. This is a passion about the spirit of the soul. You see something in their eyes. You see that potential. And so this will motivate you to think about, why are you feeling this? Okay, there's energy. It's hard to understand energy, but it's like working on a project. You know, you're doing it for the resource, for the money, right? And you're doing your project to make the money, but you gotta be emotionally satisfied with that. You gotta actually love what you're doing. You gotta be happy with the process. And so you're thinking about optimization, about how to implement certain things in your project. But even though you got your plan, you know why you're doing it, it makes you happy, and you can do it all the time. If you don't have the spark, then nothing's gonna start. You can think about it all the time, you can smile at it all day long, and you're not gonna get the money because you're not putting in the energy. Okay, this is the energy card. This is a fundamental element that's separate from thinking about it or feeling about it. You gotta have that spark. And so it's kind of hard to make that spark, but the spark can occur with the intelligence, with the emotions, and with the physical resources. You know, you gotta take care of your foundations first before you can focus on the emotions, and then think about things, and then, you know, make things happen. This is the entertainer card. This is the element of actual energy. Like, you may think about doing something like communicating to someone, having that conversation that will be emotionally fulfilling, and you'll get physical resources out of it. In this scenario, it's a hug. But, you know, if you don't have that passion, if you don't have that spark, then you're not going to talk about it. You're not going to embrace those emotions. You're not going to get that hug because you're burnt out. Okay, you need the rest and relaxation to charge back up. You know, just because you want everything to go well, you know, if you're out of energy, then you're not going to perform, so to speak. So yeah, with this reversed, it means this is a distressed card. There's something distressing. And the Empress represents the combination of all the queens, all the elements. The feminine represents the internal aspects as opposed to the external aspects. So internally, we got the Queen of Pentacles in the upright and the Fallen Empress. So this could represent you mastered the physical, where you got all your resources, you got all your stuff packed, all your finances in order. You're ready physically, but you got to implement the emotional. You got to implement the strategic winds of change. Like, how do you deal with an anomaly? Okay, you got the time, all the facts, all the places, but emotionally, do you actually want to be there? Emotionally, do you want to actually be somewhere else? Do you want to take a detour? Would that ignite the spark in your soul if you did this detour, if you strategized for your emotional impact? Like, just because you can get from here to there in a straight line, should you actually take that straight line? Or should you go over here because there's something exciting? Go over here because it's emotionally fulfilling. So you got to strategize about what's really going to impact you the most, in the most positive way. So you have a good trip. You know, it's not just it's not the destination, it's the journey. Okay, you got a long car ride ahead of you. Are you just gonna sit in the car? Or are you gonna make the time to take an extended journey, to embrace the emotional impact that this journey can be for you? What if something's in the road? Okay, you're all ready to go, you got all the resources, everything's packed away in your car, but then there's a detour, and you didn't plan for this, and so now you're lost, and you know, you're not on structure, you know, you're off of your tradition, off of the plan. And so how do you embrace this change? How do you navigate? How do you adapt? Emotionally, you know, are you gonna cry about it, or are you gonna be like, oh wow, I get to see something different and be happy about it, I'm glad this detour occurred, and then this is like the spark of life, this is something interesting, this is something inspiring, and so you get to kind of choose to look at it like that. And so that's what I got for you with this Atlas thing. You know, around Thanksgiving time, for it to be close to Earth. You know, don't just focus on tradition, don't just focus on the plan. Be adaptive, embrace the change. This is an anomaly reading. How do you deal with anomalies? Well, by adapting. Learn how to adapt. Focus on the emotions of love, of happiness, and find that spark, that passion of life. You know, why are you doing this? You want to feel something, right? So, yeah, that's what I got for you. I mean, there's family. People have families. I keep forgetting about that. So this could be like an abusive mother and a girl who's stuck in tradition. And she's trying to appease the mother, and the mother's not being happy because it's not tradition or whatever. And so you gotta stand up for yourself. And here's another like family card, the broken family and everything. This could be a mother-daughter scenario, situation. This is in the reverse. Maybe she's out of the picture, you know, and you know, maybe there was a death, maybe there was some sort of separation. Like, maybe this one's longing for this one, maybe this one's longing for that one. The thing about death, though, if someone was actually loving and they died, you know, the sideways is death. Okay, so if they were loving, if they were actually a good mother, and they just happened to die, well, you still have that love, right? Just because they're dead, I mean, that doesn't change anything. I mean, they're dead, but you still have that love. Okay, if there was no love ever in this relationship, in this dynamic, then it doesn't matter if they died or not. They're already dead to you, because they don't have the love. Okay, so it doesn't matter if they're alive or dead. You're all alone anyway, because they were never there for you. And it's hard when they're actually physically there, when they're alive, and they're not being loving, then it's abuse, right? So, that's that dynamic. It's about the love. Okay, put your traditions aside. This is an anomaly reading. What do you want? You want the emotional happiness. You want the hugs. You want to come together in thankfulness, and you want to give from your heart, from your soul. You want to strategize about how to overcome the conflict. You want to reignite that passion you have for life, and that embraces more loving opportunities and provides a stable solitude of the sanctuary of peace and happiness. And so now we got this. This is the WIERZCHOS. I don't know too much about this. Let's look at it. Okay. Bring this up. Alright, this is the WIERZCHOS. Where'd it go? There it is. WIERZCHOS. Click on it. Alright. WIERZCHOS. Yeah, WIERZCHOS. So let's go back in time. Just look at it. There it is. It's coming in from a different direction. So this is like the anomaly of anomalies. Everything else is kind of together. This one's an outsider. This one's going at its own pace, kind of slower than everyone else. Here's neat over here. This is neat. And so WIERZCHOS is like the outsider of all these anomalies. And they're coming in. They might have a thing with lemon. Yeah, they had this interaction with the lemon. December solstice, right. There it is, the solstice. Or they're interacting with the lemon, with the Venus and the Mars and the communication, so something's gonna happen there. While all these other anomalies are being neat over here. There's this, this traveler. Okay, so the, all these people are just like, local travelers. But then this thing is the non-local traveler, and then there's this weirdo. This weirdo, of course it is. It's this outsider, this WIERZCHOS, and it has a brief interaction, possibly romance, with the lemon, and it dives down. It goes a different path, and the lemon's kind of going in a different path too. Like they all got their paths. For like one night, they come together and dance. But this weirdo, this weirdo is now interacting with the neatness. Oh, how interesting. Okay, around May Day. May Day is when the weirdo gets neat. The weirdo becomes neat around when Atlas is near Jupiter. And there's the Swan Atlas thing. The lemon's taken off doing its own thing down there. But, yeah, kind of interesting. It's a neat weirdo. May Day, there's June. Neat's going in opposite direction in June. But in May, they're kind of weird and neat at the same time. So, if you're a weirdo and you want to be neat about it, you can consider that. I want to check out January. Where's January? 2026. January. This is the next numerological holiday. Is the 1 and also the 10. It's 10-10-10, which boils down to 1-1-1. And so this is the next numerological holiday. And so, yeah, the weirdo is going to be near Venus. Oh, It's a loving situation. Interesting. With the lemons and the Mercury and the Mars. Communication, males, females, weirdos, and lemons. Okay, take that how you want to, I guess. This is individuality. Okay, so 1 is about instigation, leadership, individuality, and also loneliness. And yet we're getting this weirdo thing with the Venus, Mars. You might be not lonely. Maybe. Or the okay, so this is like the crowd of other people, and you finally like get someone to dance with. That's a good sign. With your loneliness. But anyway. So, weirdo. Your WIERZCHOS. What is this? This is vitamin C. Okay. So, vitamin C is good for your throat. And with the whole communication thing, and I'll show you again. You're eventually going to interact with Mercury, with the whole Venus-Mars dynamic. There we go. Mercury is about communication. Here's like the romance. So you gotta be healthy, right? With the lemons, with the vitamin C. And so, yeah, it would be wise for you weirdo, just because you're alone, just because you're naturally, right there, you're naturally always alone, because you're a weirdo. That doesn't mean that people you're always gonna neglect you. You know, they can embrace your weirdness and actually socialize with you, because you're weird, and they like that about you. So being weird isn't necessarily a bad thing. Weirdos. You know what weirdos are? Weirdos are noticed. Okay, they make an impact. They do this entertainment thing because they're so weird. Everybody takes notice of them, and so they can be the harbingers of a lot of weird things. Okay, so that, and especially in an anomaly reading, because my voice. Maybe I should take some vitamin C. The thing about being a weirdo is you're used to being alone, but the thing is you gotta take care of your health, as right here, because if you want a social connection, you gotta actually learn how to talk about it. And you can't talk if your voice is all like dry. So just because the weirdos used to being alone doesn't mean they have to neglect their health. Here we go. We got this health card here. Neglected. You're all about the passion and the fire because you're weird, right? You're an outcast. You're a heathen. So you're used to being on the outside. You're used to being rejected. So why even attempt to communicate? You got your armor on. You're all ready for war and battle. But this is the action card, right? So you could be entertaining a crowd, but the thing is, if you ever want the one-on-one, duality thing going on, you got to take care of your health, because you actually have to communicate. And so, if you don't tend to your energy, if you don't rest, then you're not going to be ready to actually communicate, and you're going to miss out on your opportunities for prosperity, for romance, for abundance, because you're neglecting your health. This is a physical card. This is also the card where you put things into motion and then you have to wait for it. This is like the seeds, or the plants, still need more time to mature before they can be harvested. And in reverse, this came out in another reading recently. Where I was thinking about, like, some of it. Right, the last reading, at the end, this came out in reverse. And I was thinking, like, these are berries, and some of them, like, in the reverse. Here, you gotta wait. But here, like, some of them are ready right now, and the rest to wait because it's in reverse. But then the momentum card, this was actually, I think, the lemon. The momentum card was in reverse. So that's, like, super delayed. Like, here, this is a plan, right? And so maybe this refers to the comet as well. Like, the plan is no longer the possibility because something changed. This is the thing. I gotta take a sip of water because, my throat, I could probably use some vitamin C. Okay, so, that's a lesson to myself to just not talk for hours and hours without a break, because I gotta tend to myself so I can get that fire, because my voice was like trailing off because I was suffering. But you know, vitamin C can help with that, especially if you're pursuing an entertainment career. You gotta learn how to talk for extended times. Anyway, so here it is, you weirdo. You gotta embrace your health. You gotta take care of your health so you can perform. And when you perform, when you get out there, then that's, with all these social connections and aspects, this is energy, alright? You're the performer. This is also the vengeance card. So, yeah, you could be on a path of vengeance, but, you gotta tend to your resources first. You know, you can't burn down all the trees. So, yeah. This is a card of health, okay? We got an elder there with an empty basket, and she's waiting on this harvest. And the thing is, you can't eat now because you're starving. You gotta wait until this harvest actually prospers, so you can fill your basket, so you can actually eat. So this is like the waiting. This is the waiting on the harvest card. And so physically, as a health thing, you could be waiting on medicine. You could be waiting on your health to get better. And in reverse, that implies you don't have to wait, but it also could imply you're waiting even longer than you thought you were gonna wait, because this is the projection. It's like, okay, we're just checking in. This tree always produces its fruit, like here, here, and here, but then this is an anomaly reading, and so it's not on time. There's something different. It's in reverse. It's not going according to plan. And yet, here we got the fastest night. Okay, so you could have ordered something, and you thought it would take like 2 months to get here. Maybe they told you it would take 2 months to get there, but then it shows up on your door the next day. This is that energy. Like, this is the fastest night, and he's on a mission. He's going as fast as the speed of light, and so this could shock you. Like, you're not planning for this to come in so quickly. Whatever your situation, you weirdo. So, yeah. So, this is also a community card, right? This is you interacting with the community, and it's in reverse. And as we just saw with the cosmic thing, the weirdo was on the outside of the reading, okay? And everybody else was interacting, doing their thing. And the weirdo, it takes its time to observe, and then it comes in. And then it does this like whole dance around Venus and Mars with the lemon. Oh, look, a dancer. Actually taking action. How about that? And we got an entertainer card. So, good things to come in your future. So your plans, be ready for things to escalate. So to speak. You know, with love and everything. Remember babies. Remember the babies. Okay, this could be an unwanted pregnancy, maybe? Maybe. Prepare for that. Because that is a threat right now, an unwanted pregnancy. Men, you're the instigators. You gotta actually protect yourselves from making an impact, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, you can have fun. Just be prepared for that. Because sometimes, even when you have all of this birth control, okay? Even if you have all the condoms, you know, all this armor, And she's wearing a thing on her head, dude. Like, they're armored up. They got their condoms, they got all their birth control, they're taking action to prevent a pregnancy. But even then, like, life finds a way. Okay, so you gotta be prepared for that, especially in this time. It's very abundant, and so this can symbolize an unwanted pregnancy. So just be very cautious about that. It's okay to have all the passion, all the fire, but you gotta be responsible about it. Or life can change, and it may not be the best intended situation. But there is fantastic signs that men are actually taking action to be manly about it. There's this guy. He's on his back, but the wand's down. So maybe he's like, you know what I mean. You know, he's not being lustful. He's thinking about his actions. Here's the child that results from a bad situation. You don't want to create that, okay? And guarded. They're going to be guarded their entire lives. And this is the other guarded card. And here we got... Oh, interesting. Okay, so we got this this page guarding his heart, and he's in reverse. And then we got the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, and you know, she's all guarded. Here's this like fiery, lustful thing. Here's this unhappy home, and then we got the Queen of Pentacles in the upright, but then the Fallen Mother card. So there's some sort of situation. Like, okay, so the fallen cards are the distressed cards. That means something is wrong, right? And then here, she's secured. She's in rising energy. That means something's going right. And then there's this fallen mother card. So maybe she got the morning after pill. Okay, so maybe you're waiting on getting that morning after pill before you can engage in sexual activity. So you prevent the creation of a child that is unwanted. So maybe this is a sign for you to get that now. Yeah, hurry up. But hurry up and wait. Anyway, so the weirdo. The weirdo is used to not having social interaction, right? They're on the outside. Well, you gotta be prepared, especially if you're a guy. You know, you don't want to finally have the attention of a woman and not have your condom ready, you know? Then what happens? Then you end up like this, okay? So, and you miss out on a romantic opportunity. I'm not saying you're gonna have sex right away. It's just like, just because you're a weirdo, just because you're used to being isolated, you still have to prepare for the anomaly, the unexpected, passionate embrace of someone who actually makes you happy, who can actually carry on a conversation, who like sparks that passion in life. Maybe you find them, but if you're not prepared, there's all these physical preparedness cards in reverse, besides this one. If you are prepared, then you can protect yourself and have a good time. Anyway, yeah, so the anomaly and the weirdo. Here you are a performer. You're used to being isolated, so you're used to having all the attention because everybody thinks you're weird, right? So they gossip about you, they talk about you, and so you learn how to put on a show because you're such a weirdo. You either stay in the background or you learn how to perform and embrace this attention that you're getting to be weird, to be charismatic, to be interesting. And so this could be you on YouTube, finally getting out of the shadows, getting out of your hermit mode, embracing your weirdo-ness, and learning to go with the flow, with the winds of change, embracing that passion of the anomaly. of yourself. And so this is you putting on a performance, and maybe you're not getting a following yet. You know, this could be like all your subscribers, but it's in reverse because no one's watching your content yet. And so, you know, this could put your fire out. You know, you go out of your way to grow, embrace all this change, go with the flow and everything, and follow your passions. But then, you know, no one's still noticing you. But the message here is, you got this passion, you got to do something with it. Just because they don't notice you now, like, if you build it, they will come. You know what I mean. So that's the thing. Like, you're building your foundations, you're growing your empire with every new video, with every new product, and so this is all behind the scenes. But if you build it, they will come. So, like, this can indicate there's an interest. There is an interest in what you're doing, but you still haven't provided something like they could purchase. Okay, so like, work on your merch. All right, you're behind the scenes, you're working on it, but you're not, like, they're waiting to buy, but they need that product. And this is a fantastic time for physicalities, for something physical to actually develop. So, you know, it's in the basket. Yeah, it's behind the scenes right now. You know, your audience is waiting for something to purchase, and then, yeah, something like that. This is a fantastic card of action, of passion, of quick things. Like, if you order something and you think it will arrive like months down the line, but it shows up the next day. Like, this could be you thinking of a person, okay? And they show up, alright? Like, you expected them to be an earth element, but here they are, coming in like a fire. And you're unprepared, you're shocked. You're like, I don't know how to deal with this. I predicted you to be over here, but, like, you're right there. So how do you deal with that when they show up? And so this can lead to stagnation. That could lead to insecurity. That could lead to all these thoughts and emotions. But, you know, it's a fantastic sign that action is being taken to resolve a conflict, to solve a situation. And so that's what I got for you. How did these go? I don't remember. Okay. That's what I got for you. Yeah, so that's literally what I got. I'm gonna show you the universe again. Let's just do 2025 to 2026. Alright, so this is January 2025. So just play it. Alright, so that's neat. What are you seeing? Yeah, okay. Alright, so, we gotta focus on something. Let's focus on Mars. There we go. So here's... Oh, the swan's coming near Mars. When was that? Okay, around May or June. Swan was near Mars. That's pretty neat. Here's this lemon coming. Here's the K1 Atlas, 3-1 Atlas. This is what everyone's talking about. Here, I'll pause it right here. We started talking about this around August. So here's this weirdo. He's just like coming in from a different direction. Everybody else is normal, or so to speak. Here's this traveler, this distant traveler who will never appear again, maybe. It depends if they're aliens or not. But, yeah. So, here's these, there's all these interactive elements. Here's this random traveler, and here's this weirdo. Alright, and the swan with the earth. The other atlas. Pretty neat. pretty neat. Here's December. And they all collide around there, and then there's January. Oh, the weirdo and the lemon. They're kinda doing something. Staying in the system for 2026. And the weirdo becomes neat. Around May of 2026. There's a swan in the Atlas in June. And yeah. So August 2026, everybody's kind of going off on their paths again. There you go. October, November. And that's it. Okay. Alright. So, I'm gonna put my hat back on and finish the reading with the anomaly. I'm gonna take a break to attend to myself so I can have more fiery inspiration. So yeah, I guess I can clean up in front of you. I guess. Okay. And of course this one came out on top again. Anxiety and fear. Okay, so just think about all the different scenarios. Tend to your health, and realize that this is an overthinking card. I mean, it's natural to identify all the threats so you can work around it, so you can adapt with it. And sometimes you need to vent. You need to cry and think about all the trauma to overcome it and say, well, this time things are going to be different. How can I work with the energy of the anomaly to change things, to bring about change? Because change is inevitable. Things always change, okay? So, there's this thing. This is your passion, your inspiration. Well, you want to change that. You want to ignite that spark again. You want to get rid of the fear and, triumphantly make your moves and be entertaining about it, and that will lead to prosperity and financial abundance. So that's... you're building your empire, you're actually taking action. So that's what I got for you. It's life. I was thinking about doing a reading for all of these, but I've been talking for hours about 2 cards, and so I guess I had a lot to say about that. And so I wasn't planning on this reading to go like this, but it did. And so here's a card that hey, you this guy came out in reverse. Interesting. You might have been picking up on the theme about me kind of talking about a previous abuser. And so what will change? Did he actually change? How will your actions or inactions influence this change? And is this just a guy distressed? Okay, maybe it's not ill intention, maybe it's just distress, disharmony, and so things are not what they appear. Get your vitamins. You want to be healthy enough to actually communicate when you interact with people. But interesting, this guy came out. Very interesting. How neat. Alright. Come on, there's another one. What's this one? Oh, look, things have changed. Perhaps. There's something new. this guy, the new things are now predictable because he changed, actually. Maybe. Maybe not. Who knows? The thing is, you gotta have that spark of inspiration. Do something. You gotta rest and relax. And, opportunities await you when you do that. So, that is life. That is the anomaly reading. Dun, dun, dun. And now I have my anomaly bag. Here it is. This is my bag of anomalies. I put my anomalies in here. Just like that. Ta-da! So, happy Swan Day. Things are not as what they seem, and this is a fantastic sign of connection, of love, you know, and that's pretty neat. It's very neat, and I put them back with the other swans right here, just like that. Ta-da! Okay. I'm gonna take a break, and then I'm gonna talk to you. So, you know, do you want to see my face without the hat? I don't know. Maybe you don't. Yeah. I'm better with my hat on. So, do this again. Testing audio. Okay. Okay, I'm back. Alright. You know, I pressed record, and what happened? Well, I moved my hand a little bit, and it was moving on my screen, and the screen right here. No, can't see that. Okay, so my hand. Without this. Oh, that's cats. Okay, come here. I took a break. There we go. Okay, so my hand was just like moving a little bit after I pressed record, and so I was like, oh no, what's happening? There's movement, but it was just me. So yeah, that's my story. Yeah. Anyway, I think it's time to end this reading. So here you are. Here I am. I'm upset. Yeah, I kind of like being upside down for a while. Maybe. Is it good? No. Okay. There we go. Okay, so, anomalies. Yeah. So, this is an anomaly reading, and, maybe a little down. Yeah. Okay. So, anomalies. You know, I was thinking about, how would you react to someone who looks like this? Okay. At a wedding. Okay. Say, you having a funeral or something traditional, something, you know, everybody's dressed a certain way, and then you see me in the distance. Like this. I'm just walking. I'm minding my own business. I'm just doing my thing as an anomaly. And, you have your whole, like, you've been invited to a wedding, so you're in your fancy wedding attire, or you're at a funeral and you're supposed to be silent, you know, sad, and I show up. Okay, walking in the graveyard while you're having your funeral. How are you gonna react to that? What if you're doing your whole churchy wedding thing, and then a goth like myself walks by? The church doors just happen to be open, and I'm walking, and I look into the church. You know, I'm just minding my own business, walking along. And you're doing your churchiness, and the doors are open, and here I am. And I look at you. And just for a moment, I stare at you. And then I walk off. And I continue on. What would you do? What would you do? I represent the anomaly of your life, and you're doing your old traditional thing. Are you happy? Are you happy in your churches? Are you happy only going to graveyards when people die? Why we give property, land, to the dead, I'll never know. You know, and just burn them all. I mean, we have an overpopulation issue and we're giving our land to the dead. That doesn't seem fair. That doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem logical at all. And here I am, the Anomalies, saying, why don't you just burn everybody? How are people going to respond to that? Like, are they going to treat me as a threat? Oh, she just wants to burn people. I didn't say alive. I didn't say that. But, you know, this is how we deal with anomalies. There's the fear. There's the rejection. You know, we're constantly rejected. You know, like, get out of our churches, you demon, you heathen, you infidel, you outcast, you weirdo. And what happens? Well, we entertain you. Okay, you're staring at us because we're entertaining. It's our anomalous aspects that inspire you, that say, hey, your traditions, they're stupid. They need to be changed. And why do you have an issue with me just walking past your church of insecurity when I'm on my way to a gothic spiritual night of darkness, and you're in your churches thinking you're all traditional and cool, with your limitations, with your structure. And here I am. I'm not doing a thing. I'm just walking. And yet well, some people in your religious institutions, they want to burn me alive when I'm saying, why make space for the dead? I mean, they're constantly around us anyway. Like, we don't need land for them. If it takes that to remember them, like, why not hold on to something like this? This is a thing that you measure things with. This could represent someone, okay? Why not hold on to this? And remember your special person with this. You don't need your graveyards. You don't need your churches to actually have spirituality. So, there's that. Anomalies. This is the anomaly reading. And how do people treat anomalies? They treat them like the outcast. They treat them like the infidel, the heathen, we always get a bad reputation, you know? So, what do we do about that? Well, we find each other. Like this. You know, love. Here we go. Something like that. Anyway. It's love. Right there. Thing is, this is a swan reading. Okay. We got these two swans here. And, swans, you know, it's not always as it seems, okay? You may villainize something, which is actually, something that will help you. You may condemn someone as the villain when they could have been the hero. But they're not going to be because you condemn them as the villain, so now they have to play out their villain arc. But, anyway. The thing is, things are not as what they seem, and you need to take perspective of both situations, both both people, both factions, both realities, both situations. So since this is a anomaly reading about a swan, and the Swan movie is all about things are not as it seems, and there's togetherness. This is romance, this is love, and you can't see my hand. There. This is romance, this is love, and so there's a theme. There's a theme about embracing the weirdness of you, because when we're trying to find a mate, okay, or a friend, or a place to belong, some sort of faction to be a part of, anything, you know, this right here, this is what we want. We want to be connected. Hang on. You see, I warned you about it, so it wasn't a jump scare. I had to be more presentable. Okay, so now I am. So, alright, so, see? Here we go. We want love. We want connection. We need community. What is love? Okay. Love is a fundamental, foundational aspect of what we need as beings, of being alive, of existing. We need love. Okay? And when we're only surrounded by hateful people, be it hateful individuals, hateful organizations, it's all hate. Okay? We need the love. We need to embrace the love. We need to respect the love. And there's also all forms of love. And so, some people don't respect the love. Some people give love a bad name. Some people pretend love means something when they don't actually know the definition of it, like you do. They'll call you naive. They'll tell you to look up love in a dictionary when you say you love them, and that's not fair. It's not fair at all. And so, what is love? Love is a foundational element, a foundational need that everything needs, that everything desires, that everything wants. If you don't have love in a community, then you don't have community. If you don't have love in a friendship, then you don't have a friendship. If you don't have love in a relationship, you don't have a relationship. Walk the plank. You know what I mean? On my relationship, I don't tolerate that. Think of a ship. The relations. Okay? Not everybody can be on your ship, alright? Think of a spaceship, think of a water ship, any kind of ship. We're vessels, after all. Anyway, it's all about the passengers, it's all about the company you keep, really. Your crew, the people you rely on, the friends you keep. So, how does Anomalies fit into relationships? Well, you've been told this before. Be who you are. Embrace the real you. And, that's how you're gonna find your crew. Okay? Think of it as a video game. Alright? You don't want to pretend to be something and attract something that's not compatible to you by, forming yourself, fitting yourself in these boxes, in these established religions, in these established facades. You want to embrace yourself, okay? I dress like this for a reason. So I can attract people just like this, so I can get the weirdos, so I can get the outcasts, okay? This is necessary. Alright, this is essential. Alright, I need to do this. So I'm weird. Alright, so you can be weird too. And that's who I want to attract in my life, are the weirdos, okay? I make decisions off of this. If I see you're weird, then I like you. It's not trendy. Don't confuse this with trendiness. No, this is not trendiness. This is individuality. That's coming up next, okay? We did the whole 999 leadership reading. I'm still working on that. But, because of deadlines, I didn't do the deadlines. But, I'm producing good content. I'm proud of myself because of that. Time is relative anyway, and you're not going to see my content until 5 years from now anyway. So, you won't notice. But I'm doing that now. Next up after the 999 is the 1. The 111. Okay, this comes later. This is a 2. This is a 222. But, anyway. 1. Individuality. Okay. Actually, no. Here. What? The heart. I'm gonna try to do heart right now. Hang on. Upside down. Whatever. The heart, you know. What does 2 represent? Okay, it's a 1 plus another 1. Alright, you got 1 plus another guy. So, that's what makes 2. And 1 is individual. 1 comes before 2. And if you want to meet someone, you gotta embrace your individuality. You gotta embrace the 1. And the 1 for you will match you because you've embraced yourself. And that's what love is. Okay, so, you know, it's important to embrace the anomalies. It's important to embrace the individuality, the uniqueness, the aspects of your nature that make you an individual. If you close yourself off to that, then you're nothing but a drone. And you don't want to be a drone, you want to be an individual. You want to be a character of your own life. This is the anomaly reading. And so for you, how you can embrace anomalies is by being true to yourself, okay? These adults tell you to not play, okay? Look at me. Do I look like an adult? Yes. Yes, I look like an adult. I adultified. I became an adult. I am adulting. This is what adulting looks like, alright? I am embracing the creativity. This is it. And guess what? Because I'm an adult, I'm monetizing this. I'm making a profit. Because this is what adulting looks like. Alright, and what am I going to attract? The other weirdos. The other adults. Not the childish, immature creatures of toxicity who like trendiness. No, this is not trendiness. This is creativity. This is embracing the vital aspect of play, of creativity, okay? Aliens. I tried to be an alien, alright? Maybe I succeeded. You know I did. So this is me. You know, taking time out of my life to inspire you to be creative, to embrace the anomalies. And it's very important. Because if you live in a world that is just structured, just a suburbia, where everything has to be the same, where all these traditions come into place where you have to maintain a facade, then you die inside. Okay, this is what the emos and the goths are doing by doing this all day. Okay, we're saying we're tired of being put into these boxes of this social control, where it's a mechanism for control, okay? It doesn't want to embrace actual difference. It wants things controlled into boxes. And so the goth, the emo, they usually come from a broken home, okay? And so the facade of normality is that everybody has a happy home, right? Well, that's not the reality. We exist, okay? We came from broken homes, and so we can see the cracks in the walls, the facades in the systems. Just because there's a leader doesn't mean they're leading. Just because there's a parent doesn't mean they're worthy of being a parent, apparently. So we rebel, okay? Just like we rebelled against the abusive parents, we're rebelling against the abusive society because we are in the position where we were raised with this. If we see something unjust in the system, we're going to rebel about it. We're going to take it down. We're going to build something. We're going to take the opportunity to see the actual problem and find a unique strategy to actually improve the situation. Okay, this is not just about burning everything down. This is not just about destruction. It's about identifying what doesn't work in the system, what needs to be changed. Okay, the winds of change. We're the element of fire that inspires the winds of change. That gets you thinking about, well, okay, why am I following this tradition? If this one anomaly is such a threat to all this establishment, why is that? What does this represent? If I'm walking down the street like this, okay, and some religious person in their church is offended by my existence, what does that mean? Am I offended by their existence? Am I? Maybe. It depends what they're doing. And it depends what I'm doing. They don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they're there. Maybe they don't want to be there. Maybe they looked at me through those doors and saw an opportunity of change and inspiration. Maybe I affected them for the rest of their existence and more. But, I don't know. The thing is, I embraced myself, and they were stuck in a facade, in a system, and I got this feeling they didn't want to be there. So they looked at me. They're like, you're free. You're outside of the system. I want to be like that. I want to be free too. And so this is what we do. We inspire that change. With practicality, it's not just like burn everything down, be different, be trendy. No, don't be trendy. There's a bunch of famous fads, facades, trends that are very toxic, very damaging. We don't want that. We want to build, to see something, develop an awareness of it, and provide a practical solution to provide a system that actually works. Okay, we can't just tear everything down, then we'll have nothing. We need to grow, we need to prosper, we need to thrive. To do that, we need to build something. So we become the builders. We get inspired for this revolution, for this rebelness. We learn how to fight back. We learn how to stand up for ourselves. And then we think about, well, if this is going to fall, what else is there? What else do we put into place? And so then we make it happen. We got the passion, we got the ideas, and now we got the emotion. We need something happy. We need something amazing. And then there's the physicality aspect, where we actually implement it. And it's a fantastic time to actually grow, to actually prosper physically, with all the emotions, with all the ideas, with all the introspection, and with the passion, with the energy, with the charisma, with the fiery creativity of amazingness. And so, when an anomaly enters your life, you got all these plans, you got all this structure, but then the anomaly occurs. It can be a moment of devastation. It can be a moment of like towers crumbling, and so the anomaly is feared, and so the anomaly is demonized, and so the anomaly is rejected and seemed as a harbinger of chaos and doom and desolation, destruction, and it's change. The anomaly inspires change, and so it crumbles down so something can be rebuilt. It's supposed to be inspiring. Okay, it can cause pain. It can cause actual destruction, but it's a mechanism to build it up, to embrace, like the whole universe thing, with how the flat perspective of the 2D. Okay, things changed when we got the 3D aspect. the third dimension was much more revealing to what we got to see, so we could actually understand things better. It's not like there's this thing in society when we get a different perspective, then we reject it. It's like, no, it was far more simpler as a 2D thing, as an image, but now it's moving. Now it's doing all this 3D thing. Now it's we can't understand it, so we're gonna pretend it doesn't exist. Okay, it's only 2D. We only have the 2D, but it's not life. We got the 3D, right? We have to go through all these changes to understand the full picture, and so that's what anomalies do. It says this is another piece of the data, and we can learn from that. We can adapt our own charts, our own systems, and we grow from that. Like Earth, you know, we thought the sun revolved around the planet, and then we expanded our knowledge, and we learned that the planet revolves around the sun, and then we learned that suns can revolve around other things and take the whole system with it. And so it's not just flat and still. Everything's moving. Everything's moving. And then when everything's moving, then suddenly it's like, yeah, everything's moving. Why didn't we all know this before? Then we open our minds to the aspect of everything is change. Change is the only constant. So we're expecting the change. And so it's like, how is this going to change over time? And so, practically, this is a fantastic opportunity to understand that things do change. Okay, people, places. Alright, 10 years ago, it was something else. Okay? 10 years ago, it was horrible. But now there's different businesses. Now the people have different experiences. And so, they're different. They're changed. Even the human body. They say every 7 years, we're completely different. Like every single thing in our bodies have changed within 7 years. Like all the organs regrowing themselves, all the skin shedding and reskinifying or whatever. Like it takes 7 years for the entire body to be fully transformed. So by the time you're 7, you're no longer your parents. Yeah, that's refreshing to hear. But anyway, yeah, I mean, change is the only constant, and we don't see it all the time. It can be very slow, but things are changing. And so when an anomaly occurs, when we don't know what it is, then provides an opportunity to be inspired to change, and we get to decide how we're going to treat that anomaly, how we're going to change with that anomaly, let the anomaly change us. Like when Mini Moon came around here. Mini Moon. There's Mini Moon. When Mini Moon came around, I wanted to do the Mini Moon reading, but the thing is, I got sick and I couldn't do the Mini Moon reading. And so, little Mini Moon here, I had to wait. I did the whole tower thing with the physicality. I almost died because of the sickness. And so, at least it felt like that. I couldn't even get out of bed. But, for 6 months. Anyway, Mini Moon. Like, this is an anomaly. And I wanted to embrace the anomaly. I was so excited, so happy. But when the anomaly came, like, I got sick. I couldn't do anything. And so I couldn't embrace this. But time's relative, and I'll do the Mini Moon reading after all these comments stop dancing around us. But they're still here. They're still dancing, so I gotta dance with that. I'm a dancer. That's what I do. So, Mini Moon. I mean, Mini Moon made me wait, so it can wait on me too. Time's relative. So anyway, thing is, I was inspired by Mini Moon, but when Mini Moon occurred, maybe cosmically, maybe energetically, it caused that energy tower moment to transform society. Like, we only know of this dimension, right? We don't know what these comets are doing in other dimensions. Everything's interdimensional. We, as human beings, as something that is alive, we are also made up of various different dimensions. And so, what is a comet? It's energy. It's a representation of some sort of energetic force. And so we don't know what it's doing on different dimensions. And so, Mini-Moon circled around our planet and then went its separate way, like a dancer showing up to a goth club one night and then never returning again. And so, maybe. But, the thing is, I was sick. I got the tower moment, okay, when Mini-Moon came, I almost died. And so, this anomaly, while I was embracing it, while I was thinking the world of this Mini-Moon in the form of a shiny, tiny elephant, it's all white, sparkly, and amazing. But, the thing is, I wasn't allowed to embrace that because of the physicalities, because the anomaly did all the things. And so, I treated that as something bad, right? I got the sickness, I got the tower, I got the almost death, but maybe that transformed my entire body. Energetically, I was receiving an upgrade, like a computer. If you tear out all the computer parts, the computer thinks like, oh no, like, I'm being attacked here. All my organs are being displaced, but they're being replaced. They're being upgraded. They're being sent in to the warranties to be repaired. And so, it's what my body was going through. And so Mini-Moon could have been a harbinger of amazingness, but for me, it was the tower. And so now that I'm healed, now that I'm all put back together like a computer, now I can go back in time and embrace the Mini-Moon, embrace the anomaly. And so it's a message to you, whatever you're dealing with, like maybe a car crash, okay, maybe an injury, maybe your house is no longer a house anymore, like the flooding, the fire, whatever tragedy happened to you, to see the silver lining, to see like, okay, this happened, but if this didn't happen, then I wouldn't be down this path, then I wouldn't be doing this, I wouldn't be doing that. This allows for the opportunity to change, to do something. But we can't really see the timelines right now, because we're alive, we're living through it, and so we can't really see the effects of things. And sometimes anomalies occur to actually redirect us to something far more better than we could have ever had ourselves. And so, that's at least what we have to do with anomalies, is to take it as inspiration. Scientifically, it's fascinating. It's an anomaly. It's something to learn. You know, this never happened before. We didn't know it can happen, and now we do. And so we're gonna expect that now. We're gonna look for it, and it's fascinating. It expands our knowledge, and socially, you know, if you treat an anomaly like an outcast, if you treat a weirdo like the enemy, well, it does damage. Okay, you gotta understand, people have feelings, and if we're always neglected, if we're always outcasts, then, you know, that's damaging, and so then you get the karma. If you're just rejecting someone because, you know, they're dressed like this, and you don't actually get to know them, well, you know, then you're going to be stuck in your facades, and any disruption to your structure is going to have a bigger impact, and your foundation's going to crumble because you didn't lead with your heart. And that's a message here with the heart. So when an anomaly comes into your town, what are you going to do about it? Okay, say there's this dancer that shows up to the club for one night, you just gonna point and laugh at her because she's dressed like this? Or you gonna say hello? You gonna say something? Do something? Or are you just gonna let this opportunity pass on by? And then them, as the anomaly, as that lone dancer, they came there to meet someone interesting, but no one had the courage, no one had the intellect to actually see past the facade, to actually make a connection, to say hello. They didn't have the courage, so this dancer's like, what a terrible place. I'm never going back there. What kind of risky business is this anyway? But, anyway. That's your reading. This is the anomaly. And I would like you to be more creative with your life. To embrace the anomaly within yourself. What makes you interesting? What makes you different? What makes you unique? You need to be an individual. It's individual time, okay? We did the whole leadership thing. Or we're doing the whole leadership thing. It's leadership mode, and now we gotta embrace the individuality. And that makes us interesting. So it's all about play. Alright, the anomaly shakes things up. The anomaly is there to say, hey, you don't have to dance like that, okay? It's not even dancing at all. Let me show you how to dance. It's inspiring. It's to show you there's a different way to do things. You don't necessarily have to do it the way I'm doing it, but it would be wise to not do it how you were doing it. There's different ways to achieve things, and so that's what the anomaly teaches us. When the anomalies occur, we can dance with it if we know how to dance. So that's all I got for you. All right, go be creative now.